And there were students who speak Isizulu, so they needed to be accommodated. So there was a transition between English, Xhosa, and Isizulu. Wow,
because there's not really much of work to do if you explaining in like Xhosa for Zulu people, because like they do understand like clearly. I'd say it's just those few words to correct or maybe like enlighten. So yeah.
Okay, thank you. Any other benefits besides the grades and socializing? Do you think there were other benefits to the tutorial?
We got to promote our language because it's not every day where you find where you've been taught in Xhosa or your home languages like it's being taught in. So we got to promote our language.
Thank you so much. So you've mentioned the social, but I just want, okay, perhaps, do you think students who do not speak Xhosa in your class felt left out when you told them you were going for this multilingual tutorial? And what do you recommend we do about that if you think they felt left out? They may not have had a need for it, but what is your feeling around that?
I can say they might have felt left out just because it's not like just one language, which is Xhosa, that's part of the thingy of the multilingual. But in this case, they were left out, I'd say, because their languages, in fact, which are part of the official languages, they were not there. But then since it was said that it's then the first trial to see if is it working or not, and then I think that is where they got to then collect themselves and understand that, okay, this is just being run through a test, and then if it works out. So if it then works out, and then like their languages are not then added, I think that is where they'll feel really left out. And then maybe if the program in this year then goes on again without them being included, that is when the problem is gonna.
So okay, so do you think it worked out to the point that you think it should be continued with other languages or not? So what you say is this, in your view, was a pilot project, a trial,
Yes.
to see whether it works. In your view, in your judgment, in your assessment, do you think it worked to a point where you can say, yes, let's do it again in mathematics, and you've already said in other subjects, but also in other languages? What is your thought on that?
Okay, my thought on that is that I would really like for it to go on, like to just like keep on going, even for like other languages as well, not just our language. But then, yeah, I can just like leave it there, just to get them as well.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. Do you, before we get to your tutor for his reflections, do you have any last thoughts on the multilingual tutorial project that you attended?
Not much of thoughts, but on my side, speaking on my behalf, there's not much of thought except for the fact that we would just like for the program to continue.
Okay.
Yeah, that's all, because we still have maths, I think, so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yes, that's it.
Yeah, my view is also like agreeing with Nande. It should also continue. That way, not just in our school, but in other places too. That way, our country will like produce. Like we'll be one of those countries that are proud of their mother languages. Like in Spain, they will teach almost everything using Spanish, and then use English to accommodate other foreign students. So if we continue with this program, it will be very helpful. We'll be in the map, we'll be known one of the countries that are proud of their diverse mother languages.
Thank you. Thank you so much for that. Any other thoughts? Wonderful. tutoring mathematics in Isikosa?
Thank you, Dr. Teacher. Greetings to everyone. My name is Inga. I was the multilingual tutor for mathematics. My experience is that I had a great experience with these people. We worked very nice together. And the nice thing about them is that they are very dedicated. Each time they come, and also the most important thing, they work together. And what the most thing that I've said to them, I always say to them, yes, of course, they don't struggle so much. But what I've seen is this, since as a student, you don't work with one subject. So somehow, they are not able to balance all of the modules. That is why some of them, they will keep on coming to my tutors. Because what I've seen, I can't just say, yes, there were some students that were struggling. Then I had to explain more to those students. And the second thing, as a tutor, we have been trained to be reflective, try to be nice to anyone who seems to struggle. So I've tried my best because the time I was doing maths, I also struggled before, but then I excelled after because I kept practicing. So the most important thing, if they can keep on doing like this, work as a team, and try by all means whoever who seem not to or seem more underprivileged, they try to accommodate her or him, so that he can part of the group and move forward. So that is what I like. And also to tutors that would like to teach or to tutor any subject, we need to be kind and effective. And it is, for me, I think it is very, very important to take someone to be a tutor who have ever struggled. Because once that person sees a person who's struggling at the moment, that person obviously reflect and say, no, let me try to be kind. No matter is that person is consuming more time. Because the moment that person goes through, that person will reflect, say that this person, he tried all his best to try to explain everything to me. So let me try to force myself to practice. Because without practice, mathematics, we never know mathematics. We need to practice. So for me, yeah, it was a great experience. Yeah, and I'm hoping to work with people like them. Yeah. And the challenge that I've learned is this. They are not coming when they are writing the test for other modules to some classes.
Okay, so just to clarify that, when they were writing tests for other modules, they wouldn't come for the mathematics tutorial.
Yes. Yes, they did not come because they were busy preparing for other modules.
Okay.
That's a challenge that I've experienced on others, most often on Saturdays.
Okay.
They don't come.
Okay.
Yeah. Then when I'm asking them why guys didn't reach out, they said no, we were busy preparing for our test, which was on the following Monday.
Okay. But now let me just take you back to the language issue.
Yes, madam.
How did you experience explaining mathematics and mathematics concepts in Isikosa rather than in English? How was that for you? It was not my first time said to be a tutor. I've ever tutored in Mosobe. I was once a tutor for maths. So was that in English in Mosobe or in Isikosa? It was Isikosa. Most of the time when there were always few people that needs English. So I will try by all means to explain in English for them. But in this group, there were few people that came because I think they have seen those people that were performing. So they decided to come to join. So I had to shift now to speak English. Okay. When you say they've seen how they were performing, are you saying that their marks improved, so other students decided to come? Yes, I can see that. I've seen that because I've seen that in our last sessions, there were some students that were doing until we stopped with our tutorial sessions. Okay. So explaining mathematics to the students in this course was just exactly the same as doing it in English. English for you?
Yes, it was exactly the same. It's just that I'm speaking my own language because the words for mathematics I was still using. It's a derivative, it's an integration. There's nothing, there's no translation.
Okay, so you were explaining in Sikosa, but the terms were maintained in English.
Yes, formats. Yes.
Any last thoughts from your side? England.
For me, sir, yeah. Firstly, I would love to appreciate because it was a great opportunity for me, and it's one of the things that I love because I love it because I've experienced some hardship before.
Okay.
You know, so when I see someone struggling, so I get to reflect and say, no, I've been there. Let me try to be kind and try to encourage that person. If you practice and make a sacrifice to practice this, you will excel this.
Okay.
Yes.
Now, thank you. I've taken note of the point you've made repeatedly that a student who has been through struggles themselves show more empathy when they tutor.
Yes.
When they tutor other students who are struggling. But I also just want to mention that in your evaluation of the project, 100% of students indicated that, one, the multilingual tutors ensured that their marks improved. Is that correct?
Yes.
And 100% of students also indicated that they think this should be introduced in all other subjects. And with those 2 points from your evaluation, do you have any last comments on the multilingual tutorial and on multilingualism and the use of other languages besides English generally?
I can say it's not that oftentimes students struggle with understanding, but it's the language that is explained in that, like that particular content is explained in. So if it's then explained in a more specific language that you can then relate to, so it's obviously gonna work for you. You're gonna flow, and then the next thing we'll see is like more students like elevating, progressing to like getting better marks and everything. That's all I can say.
Thank you. So when you say more specific language, what do you mean by more specific language?
It's a language that you can understand, like your mother tongue in that context.
Okay, that is clear. Thank you so much. Thanks. Any last comments? In the absence of which, I want to thank you so much for your time and for sharing your experiences and your perspectives with us. This is very useful. As you indicated, this is a pilot project, but we've used not just your evaluation, but also the thoughts and the perspectives and the experiences that you have shared with us. We should use them to improve it, but also to seek ways of continuing this, considering the value that you all place on the project. Thank you so much, students, for attending. Of course, you are just a very small proportion of students who attended the tutorial. You are the few who volunteered to participate in this discussion, and I want to thank you and thank those who are not here. And thank Inga, the tutor, who showed so much commitment and dedication to the project. I observed many times, and I could just see how well he worked with the group of students. So I want to thank you all for being the pioneers in this project, and I hope that drawing on the lessons of 2022 will only improve it going forward. Thank you.
Have a good rest of your day. Have a good rest of your day. 欢迎光临. Have a good rest of your day.
Yeah, yeah, thank you.
欢迎光临. Have a good rest of your day. 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 欢迎光临. Have a good r
you go.
Thank you very much.
Yeah,
thank you.
Oh, Toddy, what shall we do? Sinzinja.
Good morning, everybody. Thank you for being patient. My job is very simple. I need to introduce the MC for the day, who is our humble Mr. Dimitri Jagels. He's known to most of the Belleville campus students because he teaches in the Department of Mathematical Sciences and the Department of Analytical Chemistry. Mr. Jagels is one of those guys who we admire for his joyful spirit and his pleasant charisma, and he's such a language loyalist. There's not a lot of them. So it gives me great pleasure to introduce to you Mr. Dimitri Jagels, who will be leading the program for us this morning. Thank you very much.
Da horen molwen san bonani tumelang to bela apshni kinchus molalapo. Njilani, goeiemorgen, good morning. I had to add in the Njilani because the person I'm about to introduce, that's the greeting, I think, in the morning, in his language, which is Pinyin. So now, Dr. Teacher, he calls himself monolingual. He's heading up our, he's our language coordinator in the faculty. But, ati, monolingual. Ay man, uyaphosisa lo mntu. Uyaphosisa. He speaks three, at least, that I know of. He speaks Pinyin, he speaks French, and here he speaks English. I know this because he told me, Izono. I'm not making a mistake. I purposefully said Izono. Because ke kodwa, ngepinyin izono, izolo. Do you see how we are related? And on this Heritage Day, we need to take pride in our Africanness and to see Sibanye Tina, we are one. He's coming there from, is it Centralish Africa? But he's also speaking Bantu, like we speak Bantu. It's a family of languages which we share across Africa. And we can hear that Izono because Tina City is Zolo. And I think, without further ado, let's ask Dr. Teacher to formally open the proceedings for us.
Thank you so much, Master of Ceremony. Thank you, Mr. Jagers, for introducing me so kindly. Molueni, Huemora. I didn't hear that. Sanibonani. Good morning. Dear colleagues, students, ladies and gentlemen, I welcome you on behalf of our Dean, who cannot be here because of other very essential but also really important commitments in the faculty. And he asked me to extend his apologies and to wish you a wonderful celebration today. So we gather here today to celebrate our rich common heritage. Common because we are a common people. We are a common people separated by colonialism, right? And that's what Mr. Jagers was saying. And perhaps I should just carry on from the anecdote he shared with you now. So we had a language Ndaba yesterday, and at the end of the Ndaba, during our refreshments, we had a chat on similarities across languages, not just in South Africa, but across the borders. And I shared a story about a debate, because we were talking about debate around language. I shared a story around the debate I have with my wife around the usage of the word in my home language for today. Not for tomorrow versus yesterday. And I often say, is on
or angu. For me, they mean the same thing, but she argues. Izono means yesterday, and angu means tomorrow. And in that discussion, we came to the conclusion that our languages are very similar. We have a common linguistic heritage because Izono in my home language, all the way in Cameroon, is quite similar to Izolo. And it is yesterday. So I went home and told my wife, you won the debate. Because Izolo means yesterday, therefore Izolo must certainly mean yesterday. So with that, we are celebrating. And in celebrating, we recognize the profound heritage that is ingrained within the so many disciplines that we have in our faculty. And we are thankful that some of those disciplines are here today to participate in this celebration. Consumer science, for example, is here. Consumer science, food and nutrition is here to pay homage to our culinary traditions, which have been passed down from generations to generations. And they will be showcasing the fusion of flavors that define our multicultural heritage in the faculty, in the institution, but also in the nation. Biotechnology is here today, and they would connect us with the wisdom of nature. They would echo the ancestral knowledge preserved over generations, and they would take us into the realm of the medicinal components of some of our meals, some of our cuisine as Africans. And horticultural sciences is here. Horticultural sciences and landscape, of course, and they would celebrate with us our indigenous flora and the artistry of design, which has been inspired by our beautiful natural beauty in South Africa. And we would be reflecting very deeply and appreciating our land through the presentation that they do to us, they do here today. And lastly, and not the least, of course, we would explore how our languages and how our language diversity unite us in the celebration of linguistic heritage that is so rich in our country. We will be highlighting the beauty of the diverse tapestry of our languages in South Africa and on the African continent. So with that, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to remind us that heritage is not a relic of the past, but it is living, it is breathing, it is our identity. Let us cherish and celebrate our heritage and the elements of heritage ingrained in the very rich disciplines that we have in our faculty and at our institution. You are welcome. Enjoy the festivities that we have planned for you today. And Master of Ceremony, I hand back to you and welcome.
Thank you, Dr. Teacher. Our next item would have been a praise poem, a Tsonga praise poem, but the artist is not yet here. And I was going to talk about how I love the music of Ushoma Josi, but but it's not the same thing. A praise poem is not the same thing as a song. So we'll move on directly then to our first food presentation. And here I need to introduce from all the way from the Republic Democratique of Le Congo, born and raised in Kinshasa, the capital. She's the fourth in a family of 6, completed her high school degree in biochemistry at Lycée Mama Diankeba. Left her country for South Africa in 2018 to join her uncle's family, where she learned the English language. Oh my goodness, only in 2018. Yo, Panamantla, eh? And then she was also a flight attendant at ZTA Web. She was in love with science since childhood, decided to stop and do something related to science, and currently is studying at the Cape Peninsula University of Technology, where she's pursuing her diploma in consumer science in food and nutrition, which she loves because it increases her knowledge and awareness about food, to know that beyond food, there is science. And I think she will be doing a food introduction on Chagalaga, the sense of togetherness for Zululand. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Grace Kilele Mukidi.
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for this opportunity. As they introduced me, my name is Grace Kilele, all the way from Congo. Today, I'll be an African girl. Yeah. So, today I'm going to say Sabona, which is in Zulu. So, I'm going to tell you something, a story of food, which is chakalaka. How the story started. Okay. Okay. How the story started. I have to bring you back. Okay. Yeah. I have to bring you back at the story, how the story started. The story have an interesting background, which is started in Johannesburg. In Johannesburg, how Chakalaka started. It was 9 Mozambican people, workers, that was working at the hotel, Golden Mill Hotel in Johannesburg. They usually cook chakalaka, they usually cook beans, before it's been chakalaka. They usually cook beans and add some spices and vegetable. So, from now on, our Zulu, our precious tribe in South Africa embrace it and make it Zulu traditional dish. And it's also consumed all in South Africa and all other countries consume it. Oh. Okay. So, along with you, we're going to go to know about chakalaka, this history of chakalaka, what is special about chakalaka. Okay. I think. Yeah. As I tell you the story, there was 9 worker Mozambican. There was not from South Africa, there was Mozambican. They used to cook chakalaka in their break time. When they have break, they cook chakalaka. They eat it with mputu. Mputu is in Zulu, which means maize meal. Maize meal, and some of people, they're also known as mealie meal. As me, I know it as mealie meal. So they used to cook it and eat it in their break. And then all South Africa, especially Zulu, they adopt it as their traditional food. They eat it sometimes with bread, with rice, with pap, and with ucheke, which is a steamed bread. And also, also, um, also, amandube, which is the potato from the roof. The potato from the roof. So you can eat it, you can consume it with your chakalaka. So to know about chakalaka, what is chakalaka? Chakalaka is a vegetable, is a dish made with beans, vegetable, pepper, onion. It's just a simple meal, but it has a significance. It's an heritage for South Africa because it's like you combine all the ingredients, all the stuff, all the food in one meal. That's why they call it a rainbow meal. As we are rainbow's country, South Africa. So we're going to move to the ingredient when you make your chakalaka. In your chakalaka, it's depending on how many people you are serving. Like in this specific recipe, it's made for 6 people serving. And when you have 3 tablespoons of oil, you have your red onion, 1 red onion thinly chopped, and you have your minced garlic. We have your minced garlic. We have your inch of ginger. It's also minced, like grated ginger. We have your curry, especially curry. Curry. It's made like the traditional chakalaka. It was only made with tomato and curry with carrots. So now they trade it and they start adding spice, the other spice like carrots, they add other spice like cucumber. You can add also, what you call it, cabbage in it. So they make it look like more better than the traditional one. So I'm going to take you the method. What is the method when you cook your chakalaka? First of all, you need to heat your pan oil. In a large pan, you heat your oil and you saute your onion. When you saute your onion, you wait for the onion to come a bit translucent. You add your garlic and ginger. You cook it for like 1 minute. 1 minute so to give the aroma. You cook it for 1 minute. After that, you add your carrot, your grated carrot. When you add it, you cook it from 3 to 5 minutes. When you finish that, you have to add your chopped tomato. So I want to tell you why onion come first, garlic come second, and all these steps in food science have a significance. Because when you put, like, for example, you start with tomato. Tomato is thickening agent. And when you start with tomato going to give water. So the onion, when you add the onion is not going to be cooked. It's not going to be cooked, and there won't be like more flavor in your food. That's why you have to add the tomato after the onion be aromatic, so to give a nice flavor. And also, when you finish that, you add your pepper, you add, if you have like chili, you add your chili, and also you add your curry. You cook it for 5 to 10 minutes and let it like cook on low heat when you cook it. When you finish it, you have like constantly stir it because the vegetable can be stuck on the pot. It's going to bend. So we need to avoid that. And after that, you add your baked beans. Some people, they don't need baked beans because baked bean, it's the one in can. It's high in sugar. Like if you are on diet, I don't think it's going to be good for that if you are having sugar problem. like you are diabetic, it's going to have problem. You're basically going to need maybe any substitute with it. You can even use lentils. You can even use the proper dry beans. You cook it normally. And also you can use your peas. It's going to help you to substitute since the baked beans is high in sugar. When you finish, you simmer it. You simmer it like 5 minutes, and you serve your chakalaka. In Zulu, they serve it with pap, with madube, with mputu, which is maize meal. Maize meal. It's like just small like this. It's not like soft pap. It's not like soft pap. It's not like soft pap. It's served like that, and also you can serve it with beef. In South Africa, when you spoke about the traditional food, you see beef there. Beef is consumed, especially Zulu. In Zulu tribe, beef is most consumed in Zulu tribe. And also, when you finish, you simmer it and you serve it ready to go. So, I'm going to tell you something. And some people, they are going to ask, is chakalaka only, we can only serve it as a veg or what? I don't know. Some people can ask many questions about chakalaka. So, with chakalaka, you can, I don't know, it take many roles in different types. Like, in other events, you can serve it like relish. The other events, you can serve it like salad, like condiment, like some people, they can serve it like the main course. The main course, when you have your chakalaka, we have your pap, you have some brovos raw, and you have some meat. It's like main course when you serve it. And also you can serve it as a soup. So it's depending on the ingredient that you put in. Like if you put more tomato is thickening agent. So the tomato is going to dominate the soup. It's going to dominate the recipe. It's going to be like soup. Like in other picture you see there is also pasta. You can use chakalaka with pasta as a salad. You can use it as a salad. Like here, there's too much carrots, too much cucumber. You can see it, it's visible. This one is traditional, how it's cooked. So let's move to nutritional information. Chakalaka is not only good, like it's spicy, it's flavoring, all this stuff, but it also contains nutritional value. Like when you speak about calorie, you have 231 calorie of energy. You have 40.97 gram of fat. It also have 21.15 gram of carbohydrates. When you speak about the carbohydrates, you see glucose. What glucose do in the body is give you energy. And also, you go about the protein. The protein will give you the sense of fullness. So all these things, when you consume your chakalaka, is in one serving, like 1 cup in chakalaka. And when you speak about the food, the benefit of consuming vegetable and fruit, if we go to according to the food based on dietary guideline in South Africa, so you see the fruit and vegetable occupy the second post, because the first is starchy food. In your starchy food, you can have your maize meal, you can have your potato, and then when it comes to fruit and vegetable, we have your carrot, we have your Beans, it's categorized by it is, what can I say? It's legume. It's legume. It's vegetable, but it's legume. Those legume, it's categorized by growing pots. Like peas is the same category as peas, as lentils. So that's it. And also, to know about globally, have World Health of Organization and say who World Health Organization recommend us to consume 2 cups of vegetable each and every day. We have to consume your vegetable. So where it comes, vegetable, it's very important for the health. And the benefits of vegetable, it's going to help you, it's lower the high blood pressure. It's going to help you to it's going to help you, it's going to reduce the risk of heart disease, of cancer, and also help you with blood sugar, how to maintain your blood sugar. Vegetable, it help. And also the substitute ingredient you can use when you are doing your thing. I see you can also, if you don't have green cabbage, you can use pepper. And if you don't have maybe can, you can use your pea and your lentil and other vegetable, like you can use it. So, we come to the conclusion. In the conclusion, I say, chakalaka is a staple in South African, in South African cuisine. Why? Because people will see it's just spicy, it's flavoring, it's tasty, but it also contains a great nutrition value for us. When you speak about chakalaka, you see the color. You see many color like your different pepper color. You see your different colors. Those color that pop. Like, let me show you let me go back to to other slide. Not this one. Yeah. So you see how it's popped. Look at maybe this one. See how it's popped. It's like many color in one meal. Like in your one meal, you have all the ingredients together. That's why it's called rainbow meal for rainbow South Africa. Why they call South Africa a rainbow nation? Because there is all the culture in one nation. Thank you so much. And I wanted to say, for more information, you can visit South African food to know about other traditional food, like maize putu. It's also one of South African food. And also amadumbe. It's also South African food. Thank you. You can also visit Zolanene. For people who love cooking, like us, we are food scientists, we love cooking. So if you see Zolanene, she usually cook the traditional food. She's very, what can I say, great influencer when it comes to South African food. You can also visit Lola Kitchen. She's a Zulu. I think Lola Kitchen and also Zolanene, they are all Zulu. They cook a great meal. And if you want to learn about nutrition, and you can just go there. And don't forget to visit food-based dietary guideline to know the consumption of food. How do you need to consume the food? How many carbs? How do you need to consume your meat and your veggie, your dairies? So if you want to know, you can just visit that website. Thank you so much, and I really appreciate it. Thank you. Je vous en prie.
Okay, so Thank you so much to our speaker, Ms. Kilele. Now I understand why my wife would tell me, first, cook the onions before you put the tomato. Now I know the science behind it. Umfazi wami ngumfundisi man. So iyasebenza kakhulu. Then I come home before her and now I must cook. And especially on a Sunday, I must cook. So I'm learning here. Thank you so much. And imagine that chagalaga for a rainbow nation. A rainbow dish for a rainbow nation. I think I need to add some chagalaga on Sunday. All right. Our next food presentation. Unfortunately, I did not receive the biography of our next presenter. So please, would you do your own introduction to Ms. Mfombi from Consumer Science.
Thank you. My name is Andisiwe Mfombi, all the way from a popular known township, which is Mdantsane. I'm so nervous. Okay, I'd like to start by sharing my clan names first. Ndingu Mantuli, Untumbeza, Umamhlope, Inkomo zimnyama, nenkonzi zazo. That's me. By the way, I matriculated in 2015 in Tanzania. Straight after school, instead of studying, I chose to get a job because okay. 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 After school, I had a belief that I want to make money. I don't want to go to school. So I worked from 2016 until 2020. In 2020, I discovered that I had love for food and I wanted to know more. And back at high school, I did mathematics and science. So I wanted to know how does food collaborate with science. That's when I decided to apply, and then luckily CPUT recognized me. And then at first, I must say, it was super hard because I did my first year in 2021. So in 2021, depression and anxiety attacked me. And then I discovered that, you know what, Enli, life is giving you lemons right now. How about you make lemonade for yourself? So I was like, you know what, in 2022, I'm gonna deal with this depression and anxiety thing. So here I am today. I'm good. And today I would like to present you with one of my favorites, which is samp and beans with tribe. We call it umngqusho nolusu. Okay. The Xhosa tribe, we are known for loving meat and the money. There is no ceremony without umngqusho or ulusu. We also have a ceremony that is called ukwaluka, where boys become men. When they go to the mountains, like the bushes, they only eat samp because the samp is rich in starch, and it also provides them with energy to survive during those weeks that the lenders will be there. What else? Okay. As Xhosa people, we love rituals and following our customs. So every time we slaughter. So when we slaughter, there's no meat that goes to waste. Like everything has to be cooked from your head to your lenduza, to your stomach, which is ulusu. Sorry, I'm so nervous. um, yeah, there's no portion that is wasted. Even your feet, you will see that every ceremony we do eat that. The head, normally, it's eaten by men in my culture. And then the women are given ulusu, which is a tribe, to eat. Whew, Lord Jesus. The semp and beans is a traditional meal, and you can consume it as it is, or you can simply add your mashed potatoes to make it like different from Jesus Christ. Sorry. Okay. Now, now we are on to the main meal. My recipe will only. I've prepared it to only serve 6 people, but you can add more to serve more people, for more people. You will only need 2 cups of semp, 3 cups of sugar beans, 2 liters of water, and roughly chop your onion. And you're gonna need your 3 diced potatoes, tomatoes, and you can use any oil, but I prefer canola oil because it's the healthiest for your heart. You're gonna need your 3 vegetable stocks. And moving right along, when you prepare your umngqusho, you need to wash it first, because when you're washing it, you remove, because we know that umngqusho is so rich in starch, so you need to remove the starch because we don't have to consume too much starch. You Okay. And then you place your semp and beans in a big pot. Why a big pot? Because the umngqusho, can I get that quickly? When you cook, you see, Mustati, it's small, ne? So if I were to use a small pot, it's gonna overflow. So in order for it not to overflow, you need to use at least a bigger pot. And then you can add your water now and start cooking it. And then you don't have to wait like until it's fully cooked, because you need to add your vegetables now. You can't wait. Yes, you can't let it cook before it's fully cooked. You need now to add your vegetables so that it can combine and it does not overcook. So then you can add your vegetables, your oil, your stock, and the beans. Yeah, to the soft beans. Sorry. Because I love flavor, so you can add even your curry just to add that flavor and make it yellow in color. And then you can cook this for 2 to 3 hours. And moving right along to your tribe, you can use the sheep or beef tribe. You're gonna need your tribe, your coarse salt for sprinkling and soaking the tribe. We need to soak the tribe first so that you can remove uh, the excess impurities. You're gonna need 4 liters of water, your salt and pepper to taste, and also in here too you do need your oil. It doesn't have to be like an expensive oil. You can just use what you have at home. Your onion, your chilies to add flavor, your garlic, your masala, your paprika, your bay leaves and tomatoes, and parsley to garnish, because we are the new generation, so we like twisting things out. You need to clean your ulusu because it has unwanted impurities, and then you can add your water, your your salt after soaking, and then cook it roughly for at least an hour, so that you can rinse it again for, then these are the unwanted impurities that you didn't wash at first. And then you can cut your tripe like in smaller pieces so that you can accommodate everyone. You have to cook this for 3 hours in order for it to be soft and tender. And then before it's fully cooked, you also need to add your oil, your onions, your garlic, and your bay leaves. Okay, the tribe, in order for you to thicken your tribe, ne, instead of adding soup, you can add your amasi to make it thicker and creamier. Moving. Okay. The shrimp and beans needs to be soaked overnight so that the bean cannot separate from the skin, yes, so that it can also cook faster. But for those people like us who like cooking very fast on the same day, we don't have to wait overnight. You can simply soak it 2 hours before you cook it, because it decreases the time of cooking. Or as my colleague said, Grace, chakalaka can be eaten with anything. So even on this dish, you can simply add your chakalaka and your beetroot as your sides. You can use sheep or beef tripe for this lenduza recipe. So, oh yeah, I think I did already. Okay. In my culture, ne, we cook umngqusho outside, and when we cook umngqusho outside, we use these pots. We call them pocky pots. These pots are so special to my culture because back in the day, we did not have the pots that we do have now. And back in the day, my grandmother used to say that these pots like add like flavor in the food. So I'd like to believe that it adds flavor in our food, even though I've never used these pots, but I do eat umngqusho. And in my culture, we love meat. There's no event without meat. So you need to have meat. So in order, if you want to invite a closer person, just know that you need to have more meat. What can I say? Oh, Jesus Christ. Oh, Lord Jesus. Oh, the samp is crushed in yo. Can I? What's yes, umngqusho. Yes, umngqusho glad. Isingqusho. I don't know it in English, but I know that this is ingqusho. Yes, a mortar. Thank you.
Okay, now, there you go. Hey, Tina Makos, yatanda. Inyama. Yes. I liked it when you gave Stuko Sako. Yeah. Nandi nguskali. Yes, yes. My best friend, Simfihle 2 weeks ago. Yeah. He's Skali. Yeah. Tiega, Chocho, Ptsolo Bentonga, Pisana, Mabomba. And we obviously there had to be meat. So there was inkomo and there was ikusha with when the hlambe izandla mos. But we had umngqusho the whole weekend. Yes, yes. No lusu. Again and again. So, yeah. Thank you very much, Ms. Mfombi, for taking us through that. That's one of my favorite dishes. Now, mfazwam, man, akapheki lo. So I must cook it. So I've had to learn to cook it. And you don't know that pochi? You must cook in that pochi. Yeah. So next up then. Sorry, I'm at that age where where I need to use 2 pairs of glasses. Our next presenter hails from Tamankulu, one of the smallest towns in the Eastern Cape, and she was raised by her grandparents. She completed lower grades at Tamankulu Junior and a high school at Carl Malcolm's High. She was fueled by an insatiable hunger for more knowledge and is now pursuing her diploma in consumer science, food and nutrition, studying at the Cape Peninsula University of Technology. Her family provides a strong foundation of love, respect, and support, and her diverse interests include planting, teaching, and feeding and caring for domestic animals, people, and this has helped her develop a well-rounded perspective and to inspire others. Despite facing challenges, she's remained resilient, transforming adversity into an opportunity for personal growth. And her meal introduction deals with Umka, a love letter in the Mpondo land. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Nwabisa Noli Digo.
So much. Can I stand here? Can you change for me? Can I say next? You cannot move it. Okay. Okay. I'll stand here. Okay. Thank you so much. Then now it's. Okay. All right. Thank you. All right. Okay. From here. Thank you so much. As they come in, may we welcome them and clap for them. They are late, but at least they came. They showed up. That's what matters. Standing in front of people is very weird. You're not sure if it's you who's nervous or it's the people in front of you who are nervous to hear what you're about to say. You never know who's nervous. But just to test who's nervous between me and you. What is the first sound? If you guys answer first, then it means I'm nervous. But if I answer first, then you are nervous. What is the first sound that you make when you're tasting your pot? Which sound? I'm nervous. I think I'm nervous. I'm not Xhosa, I'm not Zulu. I'm a mix of all these tribes. The history, you know it. So, when we say Mpem, we say friend. We are saying, hey guys, hi babem. Ni right, babem. Masithethe siyaxela. Ukuxela is to speak. Siyakwicha. Asibeti, we don't beat. Siyakwicha. That's how we say it in my language. So the history of Mbondos is not really well recognized, but I'm here for it. You are also one of us, I can see. So the history of Bondo people is not really much because we come under the tribe of Xhosas. We're known as those people who accommodated people during the wars. It says that they were protected by the Bondo people. We will welcome them and we protect them and we learn their culture and their language. That's why we are, even our cultural attire is mixed colors. It means that we accommodated everyone. If you are Zulu and you are chased away from there, we welcome you, we protect you, and we try to speak your Zulu with you, and we try to wear one of your things with you so you feel comfortable. If you are a vendor, you come in, you are running. We don't ask why you're running. What did you do? That's the danger. But we say, come in, it's fine. We're going to work with you. Which colors do you wear? We wear the colors with you. So that's us, Mpondo people. So as for me today, I'm here to present to you guys, a very lazy meal. It's a sweet meal for lazy people like this generation, but also healthy because we want to be healthy. We don't want to be old. We want to age gracefully. That's how we say it nowadays. You want to age gracefully. You don't want to look 50, but you are 15. We want to look 15, but we are 50. So this is the right recipe. So if you are here and you are listening, you're at the right place. So I want to thank you guys for making it to this day. So this is what we'll be doing. This is umqa. And in Xhosa, the pumpkin, we call it itanga. Itanga, we know this. And we go for the introduction. Where I come from, as you can see, there's a pot. It's called unqawo. Unqawo, the woman, you see the grandmother. The theme for this presentation, it says my grandmother's love language. My grandmother's love language. That pot is an envelope carrying love. Inside that pot is the love letter from the mother who's cooking. Because the passion of cooking comes from the main ingredient when you're cooking. It's the love. It's not the raja that makes the food flavorful. It's not the raja. You can cook your pap and salt. It will be nice. I'll cook mine, but if I cook my food and I'm not smiling, it's not going to be nice. Every time when I'm in the kitchen, I smile. I even sing a song. I want to sing a song when I'm cooking because yesterday I was very tired. What I cooked yesterday for me in my rooms, I was like, hey, Rumza, I'm tired. And you could feel the taste at the end that, yeah, you were tired. So the pot there is the envelope carrying mother's love. Inside the pot is the love. The love letter. So inside that pot for me when I grew up, it was my grandmother's love language. When we are lazy, you come back home, you wake up, she's cooking the meal. Like, there's this sound that it makes when you do itanga. We don't use the knife, the big, the small knives. We use ubush, I don't know what you call it in English. Telemba, whatever, but it's chef's knife, something like chef's knife. I'm not sure. The one you use to push the wood. Yes, you use it for the tongue, and that sound it makes like, and you are sleeping, you hear that sound. And you know today we're eating umqa because she's peeling off the skin from the pumpkin, like, and it's around 5 in the morning. Like, today we're eating umqa, and you're already preparing your taste, but that's, guys, be ready, something is coming. Something is coming. So growing up, my grandmother would wake me up very early and say, wake up. During lunch, we would have to take this to the teachers at school. The teacher, it's holidays, but the teachers are there. Like, they need warm food. She'll prepare umqa and she'll send me to take it there. Even in my village, if someone is cooking umqa, you invite someone, come and eat. We're eating umqa today. More especially nowadays because it's very rare to have this traditional food. We always eat the boxed food. But now when you're cooking something traditional, you invite someone, please come, I'm cooking umqa. So this is what we'll be talking about today. There's someone is wondering, what do I get? You said I'm going to be healthy when I'm eating that. There's vitamin A there. There's vitamin A. What is vitamin A good for? It boosts your immune. Also good for your... Can I ask you a question though? When you see a veg that is orange, what comes into your mind? Maybe you did natural science. Carotene. The color. So even umqa is good with vitamin A, fiber, and is a good source for mineral zinc and potassium. There's also a maize meal that we use there, a yellow maize meal, crushed maize. Like you see when she was presenting umngqusho. So we use those things and then we mix it, but this one here, the pumpkin is the most dominant one. And this meal is mostly eaten during harvest time. When it's harvest time, I'll see people from the neighborhood. In my culture, we don't say someone needs a job. When I grew up, there was no someone who needs a job. The person who's in need of a job wouldn't ask for food. They will go and ask to assist. I'm here to assist. I would like you in return to give me something, a plate of food. So that's how it happened. You never ask for money. You go and offer what you can with your energy. You go and say, this is what I can do. I can clean a house. I can do this. In return, you can cook for me. Or in return, you can give me, it was harvest time, you can give me a bag of maize, of dry maize. So that's how my grandparents used to run the thing in the plow. Is that, what is it? I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I know, I understand. That's why I'm sorry. But during the harvest time, so it was that culture that I miss. It's those things that I miss, that you never really wanted money, but you wanted something that you need. If you need this, you know I can go and offer help there. So people will come and offer help to my grandparents, and this is the meal we prepare for them. And then we go, this is what I've already said just right now, that this is the grandmother's love. And as you can see in the picture, that the grandmother is not worried about eating. She's starting with the children first, the grandchildren. That is the grandmother's love. And then we go for gist of the program, like how do we cook it? This is, he said she doesn't even know how to cook it. I was like, relax, I'm here for you. At least you are here today. So what you need there, you need your pumpkin. They say it here, it's a white pumpkin. Those pumpkins that I showed in the first slide, it's a queen, in English it's a blue queen pumpkin. And then you need your pumpkin, you need your 3 cups of water, 2 cups of, it's a peeled pumpkin, and then you save your seeds because you're going to need them. You save your seeds, you never throw your seeds away, and then 1 cup of yellow maize meal. How do you prepare? You boil your water first, and then you put in your cubed pumpkin. You let it boil, and then when it's soft, you start to use your fork. But in olden days, we use the wooden spoon. You don't even crush it all, like you just like touch here and there, because you want that pumpkin taste. You don't want it to be all milli meal, but you just want, because milli meal, you're just going to use 1 cup of milli meal. And then when it's soft, and then you put your sugar. Where I grew up, we use brown sugar, but if you have white sugar, you can use your white sugar. If you don't like sugar, it's okay, because the pumpkin, you chose the most sweet, because the reason why we're doing it in harvest time, they take long time to get the sun and to become more sweet. So in the rural areas, pumpkin don't sit like they don't stay here. We use them on top of the roof. Even when it's windy, it's the pumpkins that are working there. They have to do something. Even the pumpkins must work. So they are there, and when it's over the season, when it's early, like September, or October, and then we take them. Because there's no wind now, we use them for eating now. They must be eaten now. So we use them, and now they are more sweet, so you don't have to use sugar. If you got the right pumpkin, you won't have to use sugar. And then when you are done boiling, you put your mashed milli meal to avoid lumps, because you don't want to cook something with lumps. So you're not going to just put your milli meal like that, but you're just going to put some water to soften it, and then you mix it all together to avoid lumps. And then when you are done, maybe you want to garnish your meal, because we are this generation now, we want to make things look appetizing and nice. So you can put your cinnamon or vanilla seeds or honey. My brother doesn't like it, even me. You don't want to ruin your card. So he's saying the emotion, if I garnish it, he says it's better when it's very simple. It's a very simple meal. Simplicity is the ultimate sophistication. So this one is the most, when you want to add something, when do you serve this meal? Someone is wondering, can I eat it as a breakfast, lunch, supper? This one is a very kind meal. You can eat it as a breakfast, as a snack for lunch. You can even eat it cold. You can even eat it warm. It depends. Like it accommodates you. It asks you, what do you want? What do you want to do with me when you are done cooking me? And you're like, I want to use you for supper. I want to use you for lunch. And your meal, our meal is there, like, okay, do what you want to do as long as I'm here for you. So that's why you should never underestimate the pumpkin. There's power in pumpkin. So as a young person, you can cook your mqa, put it in the fridge. When you come back, you slice it and eat it like something else. It's cold, like in this season, you can eat it cold. And then in winter, you want it warm. You make sure like, when you use your wooden spoon, you make sure like it's mixed properly, and then you eat. When you are done eating your mka, the first spoon, like when you're tasting, like. So my grandmother used to cook it with a wooden spoon, and then like the pot, and then put it in the hand. Like, you see? So that's where the sound comes from. And then the next slide, it says simple, peaceful, and sweeter dish, and it is nice when it is shared. When you're eating alone, you don't enjoy, even if it's something that but when you share with someone, it's that thing that makes you want to eat more because you are sharing. But when you're eating alone, you're like, want to, like, I don't want it anymore. So this dish is the dish that you share and you enjoy it because you are sharing it with someone else. A meal that revives Ubuntu in our culture because it makes you want to share. You call someone else from outside and say, come and eat with me. This meal is very good for reviving reviving that culture of sharing, because now we no longer want to share in our days. Everyone wants to say, this is mine, but it is very good to share. So food is good with that. That is what I learned about food science, that food, it gives us that thing of wanting to make someone taste and to understand the history of the food. It's very important to know the history of the food that we eat, because food plays a huge role in our emotions. It accommodates our emotions and how we relate with each other. And then now I think we're going to the next slide. And this is my grandmother, the one who was cooking umqa. And this is the reference list. For any questions, or can I ask questions if there's no question? Can I ask a question? Okay. If I cannot answer you, please don't. Don't be hard on me. This meal, I cooked it 3 days ago. The pictures that you saw there, it was me. This is my meal. This is me who cooked this. I cooked this meal 3 days ago. I still have leftovers in my fridge. Thank you so much. Another question? No question. I want to thank you all for coming and for listening to me.
You? Unamandla lo mntu. Thank you so much. Wow, Ms. Digo. Do you know that song, Inkosi Yamampondo Yabalega? So it's interesting that you say, did you say Klela is to talk? Aye man. Tina Maklos, City, Siaklela. We are slaughtering. Am I wrong? Okay, it's just my pronunciation is struggling. Yeah, see, weak is Xhosa sama skisma. But that was delightful. That was an excellent presentation. Thank you so much. All of you have been excellent. But I think, big hand to Ms. Digo, you must take I think you must do some television or something. All right, just checking, any of our performers, have you perhaps arrived? There was someone going to do a praise poem, also an item in song. Andile Mbata, ukona? Not yet. Maluleke Shivono? Akeko. All right. So just a quick rearrangement of our program. We will call Dr. Teacher now to give his talk on creating a heritage of linguistic inclusivity in the Faculty of Applied Sciences. Dr. Teacher.
Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Jaggers. I think after Ms. Diko, I certainly will be very boring to you. But this will take 2 parts. We will be having a panel discussion with students, and I'll really just invite those students to please sit up front Lucia will assist me in getting them onto their seats. So if you're here for the panel discussion, those students who participated in the multilingual glossary development, those students who are in the multilingual tutorials, and those students who are in the Afrikaans and Isikosa courses, this is the time. Please just take your seats up front here. We'll be having a discussion, but before we have that discussion, I'll just very briefly just take you through some of the language projects we have in the faculty. And for those who may have attended the language in Daba yesterday, there was a more expansive version of this shared there yesterday, but I wouldn't keep you away from things you have after this, as I kept people away from their lunch yesterday with the long presentation. And I suppose some of the people may be online. And we acknowledge our online participants because we have a live streaming, and we want to acknowledge their presence here online, in the online space. So just very briefly, in a few minutes, just to point you to some of the projects we are running in the faculty, a quick overview. So we have an Afrikaans and Isikosa course for students, and some students are currently taking that course. We have a translation project where we translate important documents in the faculty. We have translated the first year student guide or orientation guide, and it is uploaded here. You will see it, the Afrikaans, the Isikosa, and the English version here next to our dean. And we have multilingual reading quizzes in the faculty. We just had the final of our multilingual reading quiz a week ago, and it is multilingual. You can see here, these are some of the questions in all 3 languages, so students decide in which language they want to take their questions. And we have, we know ChatGPT is taking over the space and the world, so we have started using ChatGPT to develop some resources that would assist students in the faculty. And what I must specify here is that when we develop the raw material, we have to take it through a process of human verification and correction. So this is just the raw version of what we generate, and then we work on it to refine it to a point where students can have a document that reflects the concept accurately. And we have the translation of lecture material, including PowerPoints and lecture notes into our regional languages for students. And this is just a slide from one of those translations and a few comments from students who used the material. And we have various pedagogies, teaching and learning approaches in our classes that draw on the languages that you bring with you. And it's really just so important to ensure linguistic inclusivity in all of our practices and all of our engagements. And this is an indication of the kind of linguistic inclusive pedagogies that we embed in our curriculum and in our teaching. Then we have a multilingual subtitling project where we subtitle videos and we dub the videos, and students would watch the videos, and it is a project that we are undertaking collaboratively with the University of Pretoria. And we have courses beyond our borders. We've had a French language course, and when I shared this at the language in Daba yesterday, off the record, there was a view that I am colonized to the extent that the language I bring into the space is another colonial language. And I absolutely agree, and my justification was that this was based on the fact that we had funding from the French embassy to run the course, but we'll certainly find a way to bring languages beyond our borders, such as Kiswahili and others, into our space. And we already have a candidate signing up there for Kiswahili. And then we do not focus just on multilingualism at the exclusion of English, which is the language of instruction. So we also have English proficiency courses for students to sign up for, and this is all voluntary or on the basis of recommendation by lecturers and the departments. And one of the courses is running presently with students who have been recommended. And we also run a postgraduate language project where we edit postgraduate work in the faculty. And we offer Xhosa and Afrikaans courses to lecturers and as well as students. And these courses, you sign up for them. And towards the end of the year, we send out the advert, and colleagues who are interested sign up for the courses for the offering the following year in 2024. So you sign up for it in 2023 for 2024. And we have multilingual tutorials, and you'll be hearing from some of the students, if they are here, who have participated in our multilingual tutorial program in mathematics and other subjects. And it is also running presently. We have a process of developing multilingual glossaries where we invite students in as co-creators right from the beginning of the process right through to the end. And some of those students hopefully are here and will be sharing their experiences of participating in these projects. And there we share some of the projects that we're running in the faculty in the realm of language. And I now invite the panelists to please join me up front for a discussion on some of these issues that we have opened them up to and exposed them to and gotten them involved in. Please join me. So, the students who have participated in some of these projects, in fact, some of these students may not have, but we invited them to join the panel discussion. Please have a seat. And those of you from the Multilingual Glossary Project, Okay, anyone else here for the panel discussion? Lovely. Okay, can I have an idea of the language project you have worked on? Have you all worked on the Multilingual Glossary Project or any other project? Have you participated in just the Multilingual Glossary Development Project? In the tutorial, the two of you were in the tutorials, just so to give me an idea of the kind of questions I present to you to shape and to guide our discussion. So we're going to be having a discussion that goes beyond just the projects that you participated in, and just need to, just a minute to maybe switch, can we switch the projector off? Can we switch the projector off just for now? Great. So we're having a discussion that perhaps I should take a seat with you. That will just be fair. So, wonderful. So we're having a discussion on some of the issues that you have encountered in the work that we do, but we want to start very generally with heritage. And any one of you can take the question, just give an indication that you want to share a thought on these issues. The first of which is perhaps just checking, being a heritage celebration, what heritage really means to you. And please take the mic or use the roving mic with you. What does heritage mean to you? Is it, let's see what that is. Is it on?
Thank you, Doctor, for that question. Good morning, everyone. My name is Timbanishungasi Victoria.
By the way, please, can you just introduce yourself? Can you just introduce yourself and pass the mic around? You want to start with the introductions, please? Yes, okay, just go ahead.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Dr. Tika, for the invitation. My name is Timbanishungasi Victoria, and I am a second-year diploma in biotechnology student.
Okay.
Morning, everyone. I am a third-year ECP student, biotechnology. My name is Ndosikwari.
Hi everyone, my name is Bontle Monwa. I'm also a biotechnology student.
Hello everyone. My name is Asasiti Tolotela and I'm doing a second year in BSc in Food Sciences and Technology.
Hello everyone, my name is Nande Lelanga and I'm currently doing my second year, also doing BSc Food Science and Technology. Thank you.
Great. So you may take the question now. Thank you.
The question that Dr. Tika posed was, what does heritage mean to you? Well, personally to me, heritage means diversity and embracing all the different cultures that are in South Africa. Heritage to me also means not segregating or separating or classifying other tribes and religions based on their location, based on their language, but rather being the rainbow nation that we are and embracing the different cultures. That's what heritage means to me.
Great thoughts. Any other response to that question? Without which we can move on to the next, which is related. So, what elements? Oh, do you want to please go ahead?
Thank you. Heritage to me encompasses many things. It's about ethnic roots, and also, of course, it's about the teachings, historical teachings, and also who you are and knowing where you come from. It's not just only about celebrating Heritage Day, it's also about knowing who you are and also knowing where you come from and also knowing the practices. You can celebrate heritage but not know the practices of your culture and all that. Thank you.
You've mentioned a few elements of your heritage. Which of these elements is most significant, most valuable to you? What element of your existence, which you would ascribe to heritage, is most significant and valuable to you? And perhaps why?
The part of the element of my heritage that I believe that is significant to me, I think is like our traditional food. Yeah, the food. Yeah, we all have different kind of traditional food. In my culture, what can I say? We have also different kind of food which is similar, maybe to hairs, or even to you. Yeah, this makes us like one nation. So I believe that like heritage is significant to me because it brings us along. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, thank you. You may want to pass the mic.
Hello once again. For me, the most elements I can say they stand out. Okay, first of all, just to highlight something, I'm not really Xhosa, I'm not Zulu, like she said, we are in between like Dilimpondo. So the Pondo people, I can say we embrace like both sides at times. I can say we then affiliate for the Zulu side and then affiliate for the closer side. But I would say we are more glued on the closer side of it. So for me, looking to the Mpondo side, I wouldn't say there is much I know about it, okay, which is wrong. There's not much I know, but then I'm more interested like on the closer side of it, whereby I love the language on its own. Like the language is just, yeah, on its own, it stands out as it is the fundamental part of the tradition. And I can also touch on the attire, like the way we dress, like you know when a Xhosa is in the room, like the energy and everything. Yeah, it just stands out. And also the food, yes, the food. Yeah, I can say that's all I can.
Great. Thank you for those very useful responses. And now, being a student at CPUT, do you feel, let me say feel, not just think and feel that your heritage is reflected in how the University One looks, in how people, that's both students and staff, behave, live, and function? Is your heritage reflected in all of these in any way? If so, perhaps you may venture into the how it is or how it should be, but it isn't.
Truth to be told, Western Cape is it's Xhosa dominant, and it's Xhosas and color dominant, right? So it's very hard when you are in Western Cape and you find other people speaking my language, which is Xitsonga. So in CPUT, especially if you're going to be speaking with other students, it's either you speak Xhosa or sometimes with English, they're not even willing to meet you halfway. It's either you speak Xhosa or Afrikaans, or I'll just speak my Xhosa. If you don't understand, that's on you. So that's how things are. Yeah.
The way things are. How do you feel about the way things are?
Because I'm a very multilingual person, I just told myself, let me make it a mission for me to actually learn Xhosa. And I must say, my Xhosa is improving, because for now, there's really nothing that I can do about it. If you can't beat them, just join them. So I've just decided to join them, because for now, there's really nothing much that can be done about the language barriers that lies.
Great. The Xhosa speakers, she has joined you. And they are there. Okay, thank you.
I just wanted to say, I got you, girl, because I'm learning Tsonga here and there. So, nakutwa. That's all I can say. That's all I can say for now. So, I wouldn't, yeah, I wanted to comment on the Tonga side and all the other languages. It's just that, as she mentioned, it's the dominance of the, I would say, the tribes, I can say, that makes it then not easy for like these other languages to be then accommodated. But yeah, we so wish at some point that they are accommodated, as now that they are part.
Okay, thank you. You have touched on the social aspect of language in the social space, where you socialize with others, and the language practices, how they use language, whether they include or exclude you. I'd like to hear your thoughts on how language is used in the learning and teaching space. Do you have any thoughts on how language is used perhaps in the lectures, by the lecturers, by the students, how you are enabled or disabled, discouraged from using certain languages, or permitted to? Any thought? Or assisted to? And what you feel about that, the situation as it is, as you see and experience and live it in the classroom and in the learning and teaching project and space.
For the learning side of it, it's just that we cannot fight it at some point. English will stand as the language of like instruction. But then one thing I can say I've observed in my department, the food science department, almost like most of the lecturers know is Xhosa. So you cannot even like get to gossip about them here and there, because they can hear you. And yeah, some of them, it really makes me proud to hear them speaking Xhosa and then be like, guys, hey, bingo, like they be pushing and pushing. So yeah.
Food science and technology, there's a shout out here for your multilingualism. It's meeting the students where their languages are. Thank you. Any other thoughts? Have you experienced any situations where you've had to learn in languages besides English? And have you perhaps been given the opportunity to, or completely not? You completely not given the opportunity to? Is there some effort, or there isn't?
Okay, let me answer that. I don't think there is any effort. I will comment when regarding to WhatsApp groups. Students don't accommodate us. They usually comment with their language. When we ask them to use the common language that is used by everyone, they refuse. And some of the things we can't, what's this? We don't understand them, and we miss some of the points because they don't want to accommodate us. So there is no effort when it comes to accommodating everyone, especially on WhatsApp groups. But lectures do accommodate us. So yeah.
Thank you. What language do you speak?
Oh, by the way, I'm Betty.
Okay, so when you say they are not accommodating you on WhatsApp group, what language do they use on that WhatsApp group that doesn't accommodate you?
Obvious, they use.
So are you saying that Isikosa is excluding you in that instance?
Yeah, I can say that.
Okay, and thank you. When you said English is the language of instruction, we cannot fight that. Do you want to fight that? If you do not want to fight that, why don't you want to fight that? What makes you comfortable with English? What makes you comfortable with English? That's the question. Because you said we cannot fight that, and my question is, do you want to fight that? And you said no. And the next question is, why don't you want to fight that? Or to challenge, to question, to seek some alternative approach in addition to English?
Okay, we cannot fight it. Me saying we cannot fight it literally means it's there to accommodate everyone. So it's standard. It's like the foundation of the communication and everything. But then there are implications that can then be made by providing like the multilingual sessions that can work. So hence why I'm saying I'm not fighting it. It has to be there at the top as number one. And then whatever else that follows, or maybe whatever other language that follows, it has to be something that is optional, not really enforced.
Okay, thank you so much. And Mr. Roto had something to say. Do you want to pass the mic to him?
I just want to comment on the issue of language in class. And this is backdated during my time as a student. Yes, English was a common language for all of us. But I felt like if you are African speaking and your lecturer is also speaking Afrikaans, you stand more advantage than the rest. Because one, you can even respond in Afrikaans when you are writing your tests. You can even get extra explanations in Afrikaans when you are, even in class when the program is happening, you ask a question and then it's answered back to you in Afrikaans. That was happening during our time. I don't know now. And I think in Stellenbosch, everything appears in 3 official languages: Xhosa, English, and Afrikaans. But again, Xhosa is not that deep in terms of curriculum. For an example now, if you would go to a traffic department and ask for a Xhosa question paper as opposed to the English one, it is more confusing than the English one, though Xhosa is in our language.
Why is it confusing? Is it because of the way it is, the language is used in it?
The language that is used in it does not even appear in the curriculum, even at primary level.
Okay. How is the language used in it? How is it?
It's too difficult to a sense that you can't even make up some of those names.
Okay, and she whispers here, it is too...
It's too deep, right?
Yeah, exactly. It's more than deep.
Okay. Okay. So, thank you so much for that. While I move on to the audience participant, he said that is how it was then. He doesn't know whether that is what it is today. Do you have any thoughts on what it is like today? You may share them in relation to the point he made. Then I'll come back to you now.
Hello, guys. Listen carefully. What's your name again? Yes, you raised a very sensitive point, but we need to put facts on the table, you know. CPUT as an institution is using an inclusive policy on medium of instruction, which is English, okay? But your challenge is on a social platform. I would advise you probably moving forward, if let's say for argument's sake, you were 20 students in that class, you can find Pedi speaking students, maybe 4 Tswanas and so forth. Then I've just shown Prof next to me that, look, we've got apps. I can write one message in English. I can ask that app to translate it to your language. So that inclusivity you can do with yourselves as students. You don't need somebody to create it for you. Hence, I'm trying to say, let us be aware that some students, are, like somebody just said, they speak Afrikaans. They've been speaking it for quite a long time. So all students in their social platforms can use any language of their choice. Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you. So we share the one mic for now. Then we'll come back to the audience again. Can the audience please keep those thoughts? Okay. Okay.
We have the same thing in University of Northwest, where we have 3 individual languages. What he was trying to put is like, as much as CPUT we're using English, our social structure and our legal structure are not the same. When we're speaking in CPUT, we are adhering to what you signed for in the beginning, to use English, which is the basic way. That's why we have basic platforms, primary platforms, which are using the language that you assigned yourself to understand your instructions. But then when you come to the environmental aspect, in Northwest we have universities that we speak Tswana and Afrikaans. In Eastern Cape they speak Xhosa and other languages. In Lesotho, same thing. So you look at the aspect of the environment. In this environment, like she said that we have Afrikaans speaking people mostly and Xhosas. I am also not understanding most of the things. Okay, I understand, but I'm not of that descent. But then again, you have to understand that we cannot change the population census of the environment we are in, but we have to accept the fact that in terms of legally, at least we can expect that our basic primary platforms are actually using the language that we are instructed to adhere to. Then, but when it comes to social structures, we have certain social structures that we have that are accommodating, like for example, Zulus have their own time where they actually socialize and they have their own thing, and the Sutus and whatever. So it means that we also, when we come to our institution, what we can ask for from our institution is to ask our representatives to actually, in the orientation, during orientation, to make those kind of groups so that you feel familiar with the place, that you don't struggle with those social aspects most of the time, so that you can grow with them from your first year, second year, third year, while you're not taking away the diversity and accepting it as you go on. I think that is how it should be.
Okay, great, thank you. We hear those thoughts, but now, is there any Xhosa speaker here among you? And that is quite coincidental that there isn't an Xhosa speaker here, right? Because this was random invitation sent out, and these are the only students who showed up. Now, regardless of those laws and policies, if we have a case as such in our classrooms, the question, which I do not want us to seek answers to now is if we have a case as such in our classroom where we design our policy as to accommodate a population, and that population has been shifting or has shifted, and we now have a new dynamic, as is the case in some of our classes. Do we shift to respond, or in response to that shift, or do you remain dormant and stagnant with the policy? You're laughing, you're smiling, and I think you're responding and saying, perhaps we consider shifting. Is that what you're saying? I wouldn't speak for you, but I wouldn't want us to engage in that debate now because it may take us the whole day. But it's something we should be thinking about, right? If we have a case in our classes as such where our student population, not of our making, has gone contrary or the opposite direction of what we anticipated, what do we do in our practices? Okay, so perhaps let's come back to the discussion here. Now, and I want us to touch on the projects you work on, starting with the multilingual glossary. How was the experience of participating in the multilingual glossary development, and how did that, in what ways did that impact on you? How did you experience it? How did it impact on you?
I was participating in CPUT, whereas my mother tongue is Xitsonga. Reason being is because I did CPUT in high school. I've always done CPUT all my life. So I am more in writing. I can write CPUT well than I can write Xitsonga. However, I can speak both languages fluently. So the experience of developing the glossary, I'm forever grateful for that experience because for me, it was fulfillment that we are actually creating a glossary for future generations, which means that language will never fade away. That is one thing that stood out for me. So the impact that I could say it has had in my life as a CPUT student is that at least I have contributed towards doing something positive within the institution and within the CPUT community.
Thank you so much. And I must just add, in line with what was said here, that the CPUT language policy is one of the most laudable in its multilingual vision. But the CPUT language policy may be the basis from which we work and from which we then craft our practices to respond to our reality. So she worked in Sepedi and not in any of the regional languages, and that's perhaps something that we could do still within the confines of multilingualism. Thank you. Any other thoughts on how you experienced the process and the impact it had on you? Would love to hear from you all, if possible, who participated in that project.
Okay, my experience, I had a good experience when developing a multilingual glossaries, because here in CPUT we only have like, okay, except English, 2 languages, which is Afrikaans and isiXhosa. And me, I was developing a vendor glossary. By the way, I'm a vendor. So, developing a multilingual glossary in Chivenda, I think it made me feel to be there, to be recognized actually here in Cape Town as a vendor person. Yeah, I guess like that's all. Thank you.
Thank you. Do you want to pass the mic? And it will come back. No, okay. Are you part of the glossary project? Okay. Any final? So, it made her feel like she was recognized in Cape Town. And I must just mention that the glossary that the students developed from scratch, they identified the terms, they defined the terms in English, translated the terms and the definitions into these 6 languages. And it is presently it's been verified by language specialists and returned to us. So language specialists have verified the work you did, and we'll be having a final meeting at some point to look at the verification and the changes that the language specialists suggested. They are suggesting changes to your work, right? So you did the work and they're only suggesting changes. to your work. And it's really beautiful, and they came out with 105 terms in the subject that they were working in. Any last thoughts on the multilingual glossary before we move on to our friends from the multilingual tutorial group? Okay.
Oh, I think we should also, when developing a multilingual glossary, I think we should also add like foreign languages, languages which are outside South Africa. I think that's gonna help because here in CPUT we do have foreign students and also lecturers. Yeah.
Yes, please. Please go ahead.
Okay, I'm gonna tell something that I saw at this other institution last week. They posted something like, it's a map, né? It has all countries and all that. So if you are from South Africa, like all countries and provinces. So if I'm like me, myself, I'm Betty, I'm from Limpopo. So I just go on that map and write whatever that I want. Let me just say, if I miss my mom, I miss you, I miss your pap, and all that. So I think that will also will be something that CPUT can do. Maybe at the library they put a map, say whatever that you want to say on that. Yeah.
No, that's a very beautiful idea. I think some of our leadership is watching online. That's a good suggestion, I think, and I hope it will be taken.
Yeah, because it's also going to accommodate the foreign, yeah.
Okay, great, thanks. So, because language is, it's a symbolic act of inclusion. Just making someone recognize and acknowledge is very significant. And now let's move on quickly to the multilingual tutorial. And we have participants here from the multilingual tutorial. And what I would like to know is, firstly, why you decided to sign up for the tutorial and what impact it had on your learning experience. Why you decided to sign up and what impact the multilingual tutorials in mathematics had on your learning experience. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. I joined the multilingual tutorial because it helped me a lot so that I can understand what I was learning there. Because I can say that the way our lectures pronounce English, they make everything difficult for us. Yeah, so that is why I decided to join the Xhosa tutorial thing, yeah, so that it can help me a lot. And also, I joined it because I like to help other students. Ne? It's just that I'm not good in English. Ne? So it gave me a chance to express or to explain everything in my language and to the other students. So, yeah, and in general, multilingual thing, it makes educational content more accessible to students and with different language backgrounds. This inclusivity ensures that language barriers hide in learning. And also it improves in understanding when students can learn their native or preferred language.
Feel free to use any language as you speak it. I may not understand, but there are people here who assist me. Feel free to use any language as you speak it. Some of us may not understand, but will be assisted. If not now, later. Carry on.
Yeah.
Carry on. If you can express the point better in any other language, by all means do that.
Okay. Uku-attenda i-tutorials zesiXhosa incede kakhulu leyo nto ukuze ndikwazi uku-improve ii-marks zam and also ndikwazi ukunceda ezinye ii-students who are willing to understand everything, because not sonke understand into isilungu, which is English, and abanye abantu they prefer to learn things nge-languages zabo, yabo. So I can say that it gave wonke umntu i-chance yokuba okay athini afunde into athi azi i-maths nge-language yakhe, which is isiXhosa.
I do not want to comment on the difference between how expressive he was in the two interlocutions between the first and the second. So it speaks for itself, right? It absolutely speaks for itself, and these are things we need to draw on. And really, yes. Okay. Very quickly, but let's just take the final point. Are you done with your views on the multilingual tutorials? Then let's hear from the second speaker. Then we'll come to. Is there an online participant who wants to? Okay. Okay. Great. Carry on.
Okay. The impact that the tutorials had for me was that it's not the fact that I cannot hear English at times. It's just the accent of our lecturers that makes it a bit, yeah, the accent, it just makes it a bit off. So here and there we would understand, but majority of the time it's not really accessible. So the educational content is not really accessible. So what then happened was that I got to know that there was this multilingual tutorial program that was then introduced, and I was intrigued, I don't want to lie, and I really wanted to be within, so that maybe like I get to find the, what is this? The like level of understanding, if is it really there or it's just not there. Yeah, so me joining the multilingual made it a bit accessible, not a bit, but very much accessible, because I could answer, question anything I wanted to question in my language, and then I get to be then answered in my language. So I'm like, oh no, I think it's just the language, because I think I know this. It's really accessible. Yeah, and the marks did improve here and there, here and there. Okay.
Great, thank you. Any last thoughts from any of the panelists on any of the issues that we have covered? In the absence of any, can we please put our hands together? And there's an app here that you want to share. Just mention the name.
Can you please come forward?
You can just share the name so that the others can benefit.
I want him to see it.
Okay, then we can do that offline. So let's finish up with this, then we can do that offline. Let's finish with this. So can we please put our hands together for the really insightful perspectives shared here. Thank you so much. We greatly appreciate putting your hand up and stepping onto the podium every single time to do things like this. Thank you. Okay, great. And with that, before I hand over to the MC, if my time still allows, does it? It should take about 5 minutes. Sir? Want to log on to mentimeter.com, just go to Google and you'll find it there. I would like us to participate in this short poll and just share our thoughts on a few issues. You can either use the code that is there, enter the code, or scan, but I think entering the code would work. Thank you, sir. Are we all there? on to the first question, which you just respond to on your phone. What are the key elements of your heritage as a person, as an individual? We had students share their thoughts on what they think the key elements of their heritage are, but for you, what are they? What really matters for you when someone says heritage, you immediately think this. Someone says art, it is their art. Language. And do not be influenced by. And perhaps I shouldn't project this and not influence. Just answer the question. And when we're all done then, we'll see what the key and main elements of our heritage are. Okay. It seems we're getting somewhere. So, language and our food stand out as the key elements of our heritage, right? So let's move on to the next. Language is a key element of your heritage. What language do you speak? What language do you speak? Besides English, I mean. Besides English, if you have another language. So if it is English, then English should certainly be the only language you speak. If your answer is English, then English must be the only language you speak. So we have a good representation of languages here, but predominantly it's Xhosa and Sepedi, right? Because the size of it indicates the number of responses who selected that. So predominantly it's Xhosa and Sepedi speakers in this room. What is the word for heritage in your language other than English? What is the word for heritage in your language? I see someone shaking their head that there isn't. There must be. There should be. What is the word for heritage in your language? Okay, so I will assume Seto is Xhosa. Is that correct? It's which? Sutu. And Kubeko is Xhosa. Kubeko. And Njogunba is? Njogunba? Ajogunba. Ajoguba, is that Yoruba? That's Yoruba. Then we have Ndavuko, Tonga, and Kubeko. Oh, still. And we have, what is this? Bomengo. Lingala. Bomengo, Lingala. Vufa. Venda. And we have, what is it? Ndavuko, Tonga. And did I miss any? So you see, we have a very rich heritage here in languages. I was thinking I will see, if not the home language, dog, I will even see patrimoine. Is it patrimoine? In French, what is it? What is it in French? Patrimoine, right? I was hoping I would see patrimoine if there was no home language. Can you add patrimoine? Is it heritage or patrimoine? Patrimoine. Maybe just add that to it so that we can make this picture a bit more complete. I know everyone here is not locked on, but yeah. Okay, so that is the debate that we also may not want to get into. So, what is not heritage? Kubeko. Ikuku. Do we agree? Okay, perhaps an offline discussion, and so that is what language is, right? Language is debatable. Language is debatable. It is not fixed. It is fluid, right? It is open to debate and interpretations, and that's the beauty of it. Okay, so we've added patrimoine here, and then we move on to, I think this is the last. Which practices and artifacts in your discipline can be considered uniquely South African heritage? Which practices, which artifacts, items, things that you can think of in the discipline that you are, be it food science and technology, consumer science, biotechnology, whatever, anything, any practice that you think is uniquely an element of South African heritage. Uniquely. If you can find any, if not, it may not. I doubt anything will be uniquely South African. There will be some trace. Let's say uniquely African, perhaps, because Mr. Jaggers will come for my head for limiting it to uniquely South African. I know he'll love me to say uniquely African. Uniquely African, perhaps. So I'm seeing things such as rainbowness. I think maybe the rainbowness of food, as we were pointed to here by Grace. Medicinal plants, care for soil, care for soil. Care for soil is uniquely African. I love that because I grew up seeing how soil was being cared for and tended, right? And Ubuntu and the braai. So these are all really beautiful things you're sharing from your discipline. And I think this should be the last. Which sites, artifacts, practices do you consider unique elements of CPUT heritage? For me, this is a unique element of CPUT heritage where we are sitting now in all of this beauty. It may just be something as simple as anything, right? But this is a unique element of CPUT heritage here where we're sitting and the beauty that we can look at through the window. But anything CPUT that you think is a unique. So it may, as someone has just, okay, it could be ways of living, ways of doing things, the culture of doing things, the culture of being, the culture of existing, interacting. Anything CPUT that you think is a unique heritage that CPUT will hand over to the next generations 100 years to come, right? That when you look at, you cherish that particular thing, aspect, way of life, item, as uniquely CPUT, an element of CPUT heritage, right? And we have, I know you're still busy, but we have things such as the Ubuntu of CPUT, the diversity at CPUT, the hospitality of CPUT, the dome, right? You know where the dome is. We all know where the dome is. That is uniquely CPUT heritage, right? The interactions, the value attribution, the gatherings, right? I hope we're talking about positive gatherings. Constructive gatherings, not destructive gatherings, right? Then the sports field. The sports field is it's a unique aspect, element of CPUT heritage, right? We have things such as socializing. The peninsula in our name, I suppose that is what you mean. The peninsula in our name, Cape Peninsula University of Technology. We say it with so much pride because it is a very unique element of our heritage as CPUT, and this is just so beautiful that you think so affirmatively of your university, and it is a place to be proud of, right? It is. And with that, I would like to hand over to Mr. Jaggers and thank you for participating, the panelists and the audience.
Thank you very much, Dr. Teacher. And the passion with which you deal with these language issues is palpable. And I believe we have some of our performers here now. Andile Mbata, are you here? Ukona? Not? Yes? Not yet. Zama Kumalo? Also not here. And, sorry? Oh, our praise poet is here. Remember I was asking earlier if we are Mazu Shoma Josi. But it's not going to be John Cena right now. What we are going to get now is a praise poem in Chitsonga. So let us please welcome Maluleke Chivono.
Before I start, I'd like to thank you for pronouncing my name properly for the first time ever since I came to Cape Town. I'm sorry. Shawani n'wina va tiko ra Kwangulatilo. Mina ni mbhuri ya van'wana tintombi ya ka Guyu wa Malenga wa Maxakadzi. Mina ni tukulu wa Ximambani wa Ximambakulura. Kusuka le eLimpopo eka tiko ra ka Mtititi eka Mtititi laha ku tshamaka vanhu vo ka va nga yivi swa van'wani. Mina ndzi Mutsonga wo ka a nga tsongoli swa van'wani. Ndzi bombisa ndhavuko wa mina ni ku hakanene. Mina ndzi N'wamaluleke, mina ndzi N'wamalenga, mina ndzi wa ka tindlopfu a tiluvani tuluvana hi mixankwa. Mina ni wa ka mamba na ntsuvu wa yona. Ndzi N'wamaluleke. Va ka hina lumekani tindleve. Ko va na yini eAfrika-Dzonga ku ngo hlangana hi mukhuva lowu? Va lovola yini vanhu va matiko va ngo ta hi ku tala? Tiko ra hina lero xonga. Mimpfumawulo ya tiko ra hina ha ku xonga ka yona. Loko u famba hala wo twa ku molo, u jika hala va ku sawubona, wa ha famba va ku avuxeni va ka hina. Hakunene tiko ra hina ri sasekile, hakunene tiko ra hina ri na rifuwo, hakunene tiko ra hina I tiko ra ntswamba ni vulombe. Vutlhari na vutivi va ngo byi navela ho bomba hi swihina, ho bomba hi ku va hina hi hanya hi vurhena. Va tivutisa ku kasi ntwanano lowu nga le Afrika-Dzonga wo va muni? N'wina ta mincila ti tivana hi mincila, ta risema ti tivana hi risema, ta minoti ti tivana hi minoti, ma Afrika-Dzonga va tivana hi xivona. Hakunene tiko ra hina ri xongile. Ni ta mi siya mi lo gaba, mina N'wamaluleke. Inkomo.
Wow, huh? Hey, you can't take it away from us, Tina, hey? Wow. Come on, another hand there. I was wondering, yeah, I'm waiting for my youngest son to get married, and then we must have a praise singer there. I must talk to you. So, before we continue, we were going to have another slight change in the program. Now we are going to look at medicinal and health-promoting properties of a special soup. And unfortunately, I didn't get your biography, so please come and introduce yourself. M.M. Ngongang.
Okay, thank you for the opportunity. I am Dr. Maxwell Mewangonga, yeah, from the Department of Biotechnology and Consumer Science. Yes, today we're going to talk about something very special as I was growing up, and I have listened to what you guys actually said here, and I learned few things. And one of the things that actually drew my attention was someone mentioned the meaning, yeah, behind heritage. And I think that's something that we actually need to consider. So it's to me, the meaning is actually what matters the most, because when you understand why and the why around heritage, I think you tend to actually practice it a lot better. So yeah, I'm going to be quick. So we are going to look at we call it achu soup. It's got different names depending on where in the country it's used. It's actually okay. I'm originally from Cameroon, by the way, and yeah. So this is a soup called achu soup in the local many languages actually. So that's been adopted. It's widely called or used as achu soup, and then we have sauce jaune in French. And then you can also have yellow sauce, like in English, but you're referring to the same thing. So that's what we will be talking about. And the interest of this project is there is one of our students that is working on this project, looking at the health promotion properties. And then I'm going to tell you why during the presentation. And there's also Jugot. They are here. I think they are busy with the preparation. So during the serving, I think you will actually see them. And then we do also have one of our collaborators, Hendrik. So what is achu actually? Achu soup. So like I said, it's a yellow soup, right? Made from a mix of spices. And these are indigenous spices, okay? So you can actually make it with up to 20 and even more spices in one mixture, right? Yes. So yeah, and that is the specific characteristics of achu. So meaning you can actually eat or drink the sauce from different places but made differently. It's actually the same thing, right? But one might decide to use 10 spices only. The others might use the 20 or the 30, right? Spices. So then now it is actually served, with traditionally I grew up knowing I chose to being, eaten or drink with, mushrooms, and not. It's actually here that I realized that you could grow mushrooms, right? So I knew mushroom as something that you had to be lucky to actually find it. The mushroom that will grow, right? So it wasn't something that you could go in the shop and buy. That's how I knew it, right? So science is great that we can actually buy in shops. So, and you can also add cow tripe in it, right? You can add beef or any type of fish. But today we're going to test what they are busy making with beef, right? There's a nice pairing with beef. So let's look at some of the spices. So we have, okay, I haven't put the scientific names, yeah, just because, yeah, for the purpose of the presentation, the scientific names are just a bit, challenging to pronounce, or it may be for some. So the first one is what we call quatre côté. Quatre côté will mean four side. That is, if I'm to translate, so it means four side, right? So yeah, and that is the first ingredient. So the second one is rondelle. Rondelle is, a French word mean round, right? So, and then, but locally it is called country onion. right? So if you go in West Africa, especially Cameroon, you say country onion, they will give you this, right? So then you have pebe, that is the local, and it's also called rondel arachide or calabash nutmeg. Mostly, I think in Nigeria, it's called calabash nutmeg. We've got black pepper that is widely known by everyone, white pepper, rock salt, also some of, I think it's also widely known. Rock salt actually tastes more like sodium bicarbonate. Yeah, it's refined sodium bicarbonate. It's the same taste and serves the same purpose as rock salt. Then the palm oil, right, is the turning point actually. So when we talk of yellow soup, right, or achu soup, palm oil is the one that gives, that actually magnifies the taste, the color, the texture, and whatever you want it to be viscous, it's palm oil. If you want it to be a lot, more liquid, it's palm oil that will dictate what will happen. So, for the purpose of our research, we are looking at 4 côté rondelle and then the rondelle arachide. So, and looking at the health properties, right? So, let me mention that each of those spices are found in many African countries. And they are called, the names are different from countries to country. That's what we need to. So, these are not specific to Cameroon only. So, it's widely spread across the continent and serves different purposes. So these are the the health promotion properties of those spices. So, but now, what I can anecdotally speak of, because I don't have the scientific proof yet, and that's why that's the study that these guys are doing. So we want to bring the scientific evidence that indeed this soup can actually, do or able to provide some of these properties. So the reason why I highlighted the last one is just because it's something that I have personally seen and actually used, So during the COVID-19 pandemic, believe me, this actually, I could, if I may say, clinical effect. I did observe myself clinical effects of, making the soup that, that you will see, and just taking a dose of it, making it more concentrated, right? When I was very fluish, and the whole family was, and yeah, that's what we did. We just made this, and then we were actually taking it as, morning, and evening before bed, and, So, and also, I remember seeing my grandfather getting very sick at the approach of the change of season. Got very sick. And then what my grandmother did was just to make the achu soup very concentrated. And he came back from the farm very sick. Then he took a nice dose, I would say, like a great dose of the achu soup. And then immediately he started sweating, right? You know the fever and then he started sweating heavily. But the following day, if they could tell you that this is the person that was, a dying individual, that is, up and fresh as if nothing happened. And the only thing that he took was that. So all those triggered, the need for research, because I believe that heritage, and I like the fact that it's diverse, and I personally advocate for the use of indigenous knowledge. And it's up to us, scientists at times, to bring value in some of these. And that is the purpose of the study that we're doing. So it's actually paired with cocoyam. This is how cocoyam, that is the plant. And then cocoyam has
Madombe, yeah, it will definitely have different names in different, yeah. So, yeah, just the plant itself, the leaves will have all those effects. You know, immune boosting, weight loss, fetal brain development, various treatments, right? So it means the food from the beginning, all the stages or all the pairing and whatever you put in has some health promoting effect, right? So sometimes some people will call a food like this 200 diseases to say it can cure or treat 200, you know. Yeah. So, and that is the final, when it's ripe, that's how, when it's harvested, that's how it is presented. And then the cooking process, we're not going to have the pounded cocoa yam. Yeah. But if you use a mortar and a pestle to actually, so you boil it or you steam it, and then you actually pound it until it becomes, you know, close to, yeah, smooth and a bit sticky. Yeah. So, and now the achu soup, as I mentioned previously, so these are some photos of the boiled tripe and possibly the cow skin also sometimes, and then the mushroom, and but we're going to actually have beef today. So it's quite a very, you know, diverse, you know, dish or a plate or meal as the heritage itself, right? So when it is served, and also when I remember, even up to now, not everyone is able to cook, you know, to make, because achu soup on its own is science. You know, you being able to play around with all the 20 spices. So it is a skill that, you know, but I still believe that as a woman, when you are able to do that, you know, it's a nice point scoring, you know, when you visit your, you know, your in-laws family. So it's something that up till today is still the case. So when everything is prepared and finished, this is how it is served, right? So it's a you know, dimensional, multicultural, as we are now. We're sitting in a, you know, a heritage environment. So the achu plate actually looks like this. So you do have, you know, all the meat. You can have different types of meat all mixed together. You can decide just on the one, and yeah, then you will have it this way. And it's actually something that we are quite happy so far with the research findings, because we are actually finding some of the anecdotal evidence by the fact that some of these spices, they're very rich in some health promoting compounds, right? That if a product like this can end up in a shop somewhere, right, you should be able to, when ingested, right, get some real benefits. And that's the project that they are busy with. So we're hoping to, you know, achieve something greater and make it, right, available to everyone. And please, the heritage is also something that we need to share, right? So, and what I will, you know, say here is, whatever heritage that you have is something of a great value. It's your identity, and it's something to be proud of. So when I'm, you know, this is a research that when I wake up every morning, I look forward to actually go and find out what's next. And I think they can tell you they're also enjoying the whole thing. So with that, I think that is the end of my presentation. And yeah, we've prepared a bit of beef and then the actual achu soup. So, but I think maybe during the tasting, yeah, you're welcome to just get a bit, and yeah, definitely. So this is magical, I would say, in terms of what, you know, it has been, you know, anecdotally claimed. But personally, I have observed, you know, I had to observe some clinical effect of, you know, someone really getting sick, and you see them, you see the effect of, so, but we are scientists at the end of the day, so yeah, we're trying to prove that. Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Hmm? Okay.
Thank you very much, Dr. Ngongang. May I bring my wife to your wife, Dr. Ngongang, to be taught the achu soup so that she can also score some points. And I'm very happy that you remind us. We can do it when we. Yes, yes. All right. And thank you for reminding us that we are scientists and we apply the scientific method. We know anecdotally that this works, but we will now prove it. Yeah. We have now reached the stage where we will be calling on, and I do have his short biography. This gentleman is a biodiversity conservation horticulturalist who started his plants journey at the Sir Harry Oppenheimer Agricultural High School in Limburg, studied and graduated with his horticulture degree at Tshwane University of Technology and trained at the City of Tshwane Boyson's Nursery Horticultural Training Center, as well as WESA and University of Stellenbosch Business School. Joined the South African National Biodiversity Institute as a horticulturalist at the Walter Sisulu National Botanical Garden, then chief horticulturalist at the Pretoria National Botanical Garden, before joining the Johannesburg Zoo as a curator of horticultural services, as well as City of Joburg Metro EPWP champion. In 2013, he became a member of the CPUT Applied Sciences in the Horticulture Department, where he's been supporting academic activities, providing technical and logistical research support, and department operations. Now, to take us through an exploration of our rich plant heritage, please welcome from the Horticultural Sciences Department, Terence Mabela.
Good afternoon, everyone. Sorry, I know my voice is not. All right. Introductions have been done. Thank you very much, Program Director and everyone. We spoke, we had many discussions. Apologies, I missed most of them. And because I had double booked myself. But at least I managed to split myself in two. I am back here. We spoke about heritage. We spoke about the things that we put into our tummies. We spoke about the way we live, the language. But now, as the famous saying, on God's green earth, okay? We are going to talk about the heritage of the greens, the plants. So, what's going to happen is now, I'm just going to take it through a smallerish journey of our heritage in terms of plants. Normally, when you see these traditional dishes that they presented here, there is a traditional way of presenting them. Am I correct? It's not a porcelain plate, unless if you are from China and all those. However, now what I would like, from the things that we wear, from the things that we wear to the things that we rely on plants for a few. Okay. So, in fashion, we have bags. We have bags. Can I have that bag lifted up? In fashion, we have bags. Can that, yes. In fashion, you can lift it up, let everyone see. Okay? Right. Okay. That is a product of a plant, fibers, okay? Some of you that come from those places where there used to be a lot of factories and industry that closed down, you might be familiar with the word sisal project, whereby agave is grown in numbers and numbers. It's those fibers that were used to make twine and the likes. And then from there, we have things like ladies' handbags and everything. Some of you who like to go to Thailand, you always come back with those. Weaved with leaves and grass and everything. And today we have a nice ladies' summer hat made out of grass straw. Can we see it now? Okay. All right. Okay. The reason I'm showcasing some of these things, sometimes we live. We understand this, but you realize that some things have always been part of a group of people, okay? A culture, their heritage, but we don't give thought. Like the first presenter said, you must put in onions first and cook them before the other. You know, sometimes we don't get the sense of why certain things are this way, okay? The famous straw or weaved hat that we get is the one that you get from the Panama palm. Unfortunately, we only have one specimen that has 2 leaves. There was no way I was going to cut it for show and tell. You can always come to a department and show you. If you've seen those typical, the Cubans and the mafias, there is this nice, beautiful hat which is associated with linen clothing as well as white sandy beaches that the kind, fancy gentlemen wear with a little band around it. Do you get the picture of that? I see some people are nodding their heads and others are clueless. So it's seemingly to that. In Panama, such a palm is of economical importance because it sustains the economy, they grow it, it comes from their land and it's endemic from their land. And then they have a product that they ship out into the world. So it was very tricky for me when I sent an email to say, if anyone has plant-based products, please bring them for share. But a few people responded, oh, mine is not real straw, it's actually synthetic. Or mine is this, is this. There's still industries that are made out of pure plant material directly. And you would also find them in craft markets. Those of you who travel a lot of KZN, there's a big Shell garage along the N2. If you go in towards the south coast, there's a big, big craft market. And those of you who like to watch beds, I actually picked up this morning. I went into the swamp by the airport. This might not mean anything to anyone now. Bulrush. Your fancy picnic baskets, it's fine. The plant has been cut off. You can, you know. So as much as it is, this is a heritage to us. You can pass it around. It's fine. They can touch and feel it. If you think of a tray, who has a tray? Who has a tray? Okay. Typha capensis. Weaved that, once it weaves, it becomes small. So next time you see fruits in a basket, vegetables in a basket, think of the greens behind this kind of things. So when somebody says, do not destroy wetlands, and an engineer says, but we want to build houses, you're not going to have that. You're not, oh, thank you. They just taught me how to use a mic properly. I sound better now and a lot more confident. No longer as nervous. Okay. So our heritage is a chain process. It's a value chain. If you preserve the wetland, okay, you get those beds. You get your water purified. You also get your basket. Either it's your picnic basket, whether it's your fruit basket, but you get those in turn. And then if you look at that fancy table there full of commercial items that you see there, underneath the horns, there is a beer pot. For those of you who are familiar with mkomboti, sorry, I cannot click. We call it tsetla on the other side of the world. The one that you eat with what? Madam, you were shaking your hand when I said tsetla. So basically what happens is that is cast from clay. That is cast from clay, and then when the pot is ready, and then they are scooping. In the Eastern Cape and as well as in West Africa, they have, I do not have bamboo here. Unfortunately, the traffic was too unbearable to go to town. They have a straw, a bamboo straw, whereby men will gather around and then drink from the beer pot using the straw. But we have cucurbits in our parts of the world, Zimbabwe, Tanzania, the Limpopos, the Mpumalanga, and Northwest. And then this natural squashes, indigenous squashes, this is exactly, oh, Nasa KZN, sorry. So pretty much widespread. This is what you would use now to scoop in, okay? To scoop in your traditional beer, for you to have a real authentic experience, okay? It's different scooping this thing from an enamel bowl, from an enamel cup out of a 20-liter bucket compared to when it comes into an authentic red clay pot and you are drinking out of this. And most would tell you that it tastes different than when it's in a plastic. And then from there, we also eat out of bowls. Another one in the same family of cucurbits. So basically, what I'm saying is, these are the kind of plants that are not. Lift that one as well. So basically, when you see a gem squash, when you see a pumpkin, you know, those are those family plants that never made it to the commercial scale. Okay? And then what we need to do when we say we are preserving heritage, okay? Those ugly cucumbers and ugly cucurbits that we disregard are actually now disappearing. And these things will no longer be available for future generations if we don't do anything about it. Otherwise, you will only see this in museums and then think primitive, okay? But in actual fact, this is a whole different ball game. Many people in my department, when I used to have breakfast at work, they used to want to get hold of one of this. I would have my cereal in here every morning. But then I realized that this inner layer does not like yogurt and processed milks very well. There is a different kind of fermentation that happens in here as well. So that's why you would see when they say the natural cultural containers that you eat food out of. That's why some people will say, but this no longer tastes the same as the way it tasted when we were growing up. Because you cook it in a shiny pot, you put it in a porcelain plate, you eat it with a shiny spoon. Okay, and then one of the finest things that ever came out of Asia is the bamboo. And in this fight against plastic pollution and everything, bamboo has come up top. Madam, can you lift your bamboo stick? Okay. When deforestation becomes an issue in this world of science, this is a spoon made from a bamboo stalk. Okay? The nice thing about bamboo is you can cut 10 meters of it now. Within 2 weeks, you have 6 meters of growth coming back. So when it comes to sustainability is that those of you who like to break chopping boards, you can always buy a bamboo chopping board. If it falls apart in 6 weeks, you can always get another one and not have to worry about what it does to the environment. However, the story of the bamboo, what I found out, the bamboo plant, as much as it's a feeder for the national animal of China, the panda, is also a spiritual thing. It's a pity we don't have anyone here from, is there anyone from India here? No one from India? Okay, but what happens is, at a certain time, I'm not quite sure of those, that's why I wanted to be corrected. The Diwalis and all those, there is a certain time of the year whereby they actually rely on bamboo sticks for prayer. They need to be a certain thickness, they need to be a certain height. So now we've got cutlery, we've got chopping boards in our kitchen. We also have now spiritual alignment, okay? So when we think as scientists, as conservationists, as consumers, we need to think broader. When you want to have a development that annihilates a population of bamboo or such kind of plants, you are also cutting off people from their spiritual connection. Imagine now, the most famous one that we know in South Africa, imagine if this was to go extinct. Sorry, I picked it fresh. You might not know it like this. You might know it tied up and twinkled up and rolled up. Your SIM card, your ancestral SIM card, incense. So this is imperishable, okay? So what I'm saying is plants are our heritage in more ways than one. If we lose conserving this, we lose our heritage, because now, yes, for now it might look like just a flower and whatever, but for the ceremony to go on, the smoke need to come up, okay? And then, if you are Christian, I haven't left you behind, okay? All right. A certain so-and-so that walked on water had to have a green carpet, okay? So some of you might have not known, at a certain time of the year, grandma or ma brings you little palm leaves, and then you start doing little crosses and you have them all over the wall, okay? This, date palms. Date palms are used for that when they say Palm Sunday and whatnot, okay? This is what you get. Those of you who like to go to those holiday destination, Indonesia and whatever, you are there in a little beach house or bar, whatever, the roof, you know? You use this plant for roofing. You use this plant for your spiritual celebration and connection. This is our heritage. Can I just allow, can you please come in, please? This is my team from UWC. They worked tooth and nail. Well, they're actually from here, hosted at UWC. They worked tooth and nail helping us prepare this venue. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you. And those of you who love more plants, UWC Nature Reserve has a plant sale tomorrow, which our students have been preparing for. So some of the plants I spoke about here will be on sale. So Palm Sunday, a bed. Remember, those who are into history of invasion, a mattress is only something that came up now. It's either you have hay straw, you have leaves, whatever, but this works fine as well. But now, I want to get a little bit more interesting. Kitchen, can I please have a knife? Thank you. Right. In this day and age, we smell good. We look good. I'm going to talk about aromatic plants, but before I do that, I am not out of the spiritual world yet. Okay. This is a buffalo thorn. Okay? Ziziphus macronata. Okay? Some of you who come from the so-called Transvaal, a brand new knife, can we just open it up for me, please? Thank you. So Zizifos Macronata makes some of the best beer I've ever tasted. Food scientists, where are you? Please go to Mpumalanga and Limpopo, collect as many berries as you can, because I've been struggling to grow this thing in the Western Cape. For 7 years, it's been standing up until here because the conditions are harsh. The problem is, scientifically speaking, I hear you, the soil is not the problem. The Cape climate is the issue. Trust you me, where there is sun, it's out in the open. This thing won't even grow down in GP. So Cape Town is very far for us to do that. But this is definitely a plant worth trying. Normally when people travel Easter, December, there's a lot of accidents that take place, right? And then you would hear a family that says, part of the reason this tree never grows to size. Okay? Only a few people know that it exists on campus. They would go like, no, we had family members that were going out of the province. There was an accident, somebody died. We want to go collect their spirit. So, the two branches of this needs to be a certain length and whatever. This is not the only one, but one of them. So, when I say our plants, our heritage, okay? So, you can get drunk from this if you make that nice beer. Or you can just eat the berries fresh as they are. They are bitter, but also nutritious. It's a pity Prof. Kambizi is not here to attest to this, okay? Buffalo thorn, okay? Food sciences, please take us into consideration when you are thinking your next PhD or master's project, ne? You already have a microbrewery in there. Let's do this. Okay. Wasn't it? Okay. All right. Without cutting yourself, just open up just a little bit here of the back. So here I am. I am 4 years old. Thank you. There is no electricity. There has to be fire. Thank you. My grandmother doesn't play. If you can eat and you can talk, you are all going. She takes an axe, we all go. She cuts whatever trees that she cuts. Okay? The big one will carry so much. The 4-year-old one, you will carry fire starters, the little twigs. But how do we keep it together? Okay? If you don't have twine, like, where's that bag? If you don't have rope made out of agave twine, which was very expensive, by the way, grandfather would rather have it used to tie his cows during milking than to go gather firewood because we would lose it. This is Nidia. Okay? And also, in African tradition, livestock is wealth. Okay? So leather is only preserved. Okay? For the very, very special. So they can't just kill a cow every now and then because they want to make 10 meters of rope. Plants like Nidia, when they thickened up, nicely, my grandmother will strip off meters and meters of this. Tie it together and do that. And if you really came back from those poor real family, we will know at school when your big brother's pants are too big for you and your belt is a Nidia. Okay? So, Nidia as a very interesting plant, in a sense that on a day like now, when it's not being used as a substitute for leather and rope, okay? It flowers very nicely. Put it around your nose, don't worry. If you have sinus, it's not going to do anything to you now. This plant smells very nice. This plant smells very nice. Shake your head if you disagree, nod if you agree. Pass it on. Pass it on. This plant smells very nice. Pass it on, or break off a flower, pass it on faster. Okay, so now we have daytime activities, we have evening activities. These are those flowers that would be very nice and fragrant in the dark. During the day, you can sniff all you like, it smells like an ordinary plant. First time I discovered this when I was told, oh, this is one of the indigenous plants you can use in essential oils and perfumes. And then I'm like, what madness is this? This thing doesn't even smell properly. Like, there is nothing fragrant compared to its fellow geraniums and pelargoniums. You know of those geranium oil and everything, those of you who are doing synthetics. Okay? So, if you take leaves of that, you got it? If you take leaves of that, I'm getting to where Dr. Teacher actually wanted me. He initially just wanted me to talk about muti plants. But I thought for a change, the medicine man can speak about plants in a different manner. Okay. Remember what I said, the Nidia? It's fragrant at night. You line that, you put the geraniums, you put the eucalyptus, you put it into your pillow, stuff them into your pillow, come nighttime, you sleep like a baby, okay? Your whole heritage of antidepressants. I mean, if you speak to your grandma now and find out how many depressed people did you have in your day, they will look at you funny. But also you would think, Patumkulu, why would you want to stuff leaves in my pillow? I don't want a stick in my ear. Okay? They knew very well that they invested in good night's sleep. Okay? All right. And then now, how did the koi and others keep their leather waterproof? Huh? How did they do that? I mean, there was no oil pressing equipment and anything. Wax. That is a wax berry. When it's happy, it grows like nobody's business. Okay? Please brush on the leaves. Do this first before you brush on the leaves. Let's do this. Let's keep it moving faster. Okay. Brush on, move your fingers around, then brush on the leaves, and then tell me what it feels like after. What did you say?
Wax.
Say it.
Wax.
Wax. Okay. So, wax will be collected from this plant leaves. Even better when it comes from the berries, because they are bigger. Then you are able to layer whatever you need waterproofed. Okay? Yes, it's a lot of work. There was no TikTok. Why not? Nothing was going to take your time away. So that's what really happens with that. And this plant here, I didn't want to bring it forth as much because who here has got descendants from the Netherlands? Okay. Who is here is from the Cape? Everyone is from the Cape. When we talk about Cape Dutch architecture, what comes to mind? White houses with thatch roof. Okay? This is the Cape Dutch in No, you can take it. You can pass it on. Or you can whoop somebody if you wanna. So, basically now, in order to consider, you've heard other presenters saying that we are a rainbow nation, we are colorful and whatnot. Okay? When you think of other things despite, Cape Dutch architecture heritage will not survive if these plants go extinct out of the Cape. Because then they would have to amend their architecture. Am I right? Start using something else for roofing. There is many other plants that help in so many other ways. Unfortunately, my last plant was stolen. I had a little cannabis plant in a jar. I carelessly left it somewhere, and somebody helped themselves to it. The reason why I wanted that to be my last straw, it wasn't because, non-tobacco, it wasn't because we were going to smoke it, but pretty much for the fact that there is many other uses. It's a plant that is actually should be at the center of human heritage, because you can wear it, you can live in it, you can eat it, and if you're starting to look your age like me and you feel your skin is failing you, you can actually sort your skin out and have a baby's bum fill using it. It's a plant with so many, but unfortunately a plant with many stereotypes. So, fellow brothers and sisters, one thing that I want to say is, sometimes we look what our neighbors have and think it's the best, while overlooking what we have here. Okay? A long time ago, not now, I'm not so sure now, the American had a very big military. Okay? And they had a lot of money. And they sold the world the one plant that they have. They said aloe vera is the one-stop gel plant. It's the one-stop aloe that does. And then because they had big money to promote their product, their plant, their heritage, they exported it to all of us. Now we have brothers and sisters selling you aloe this, aloe cream, aloe gel, aloe this. I tell you what, SAPS, you know the logo of SAPS? That plant is far better than aloe vera. Okay? What is it called? Eastern Cape Mensa? Okay, well, all right. I guess it's a generic name. It's Ikala. You go Ikala from here to here across the country. Yes. That Eastern Cape aloe. There is a cousin of it that occurs in the northwestern Mpumalanga and everything. Looks practically the same, but it's got spines all over. Aloe maloti. Okay? Not so well marketed. They are not well prominent. And those of you who know us in our building there, there's never been a sick student that shows up with issues and I haven't given them the leaf or the leaf crystals, either to apply on the skin or to drink, because it is the best. Okay? If you don't believe me, please go read up on Prof. Kambizi's PhD. That plant made him what he is now. So now, in wrapping up, The kitchen seems to be ready. When we spoke about the plants and every hound order, how could you let me continue speaking about everything? Everybody lifted their utensils and you just stood there. Behold, I give you the acacia bough. We all know the acacia, right? Well, horticulture people will come start saying, no, taxonomy has changed. We no longer call it acacia because the American and the Australians hold rights to the name. But we will stick to that. So our thorny savanna tree that has got that red-orange wood, ne? Okay. The boughs that you see, the authentic stuff where you share or where you dish out your heritage material, okay? So, all in all, plants are at the center of our lifestyle and our heritage. Whether it's the wood, whether it's the leaves, whether it's the medicine, I would like for us to think of plants in a different manner, okay? When we say Heritage Day, it's not about wearing something colorful and beads. And by the way, some beads, if they come from the industrial market, they will be synthetic beads. If not, chances are you are wearing seeds of some plants that were poked into little holes and strings hanged around. So, Heritage Day is more than just about the food. It's more than just about the poetry. It's more than just about the attire. The greens are at the center of it all. The greens are part of us. So when you celebrate this heritage, or when you think on Heritage Day on Sunday, think back to your childhood. Okay? Think back to your childhood of a green that you encountered that you didn't think was significant back then. If you don't know what it is, find out more about it. Like, for instance, I'd give an example. When my brothers didn't want me to go anywhere with them, when they felt I was too young to follow them around because they were going to fool around, they will pick a leaf of a plant, okay, and rub it on my skin. I will not have enough time to follow them because I will be screaming and kicking from the itchiness, okay? The plant is widespread, highly medicinal. It's called a stinging nettle, also called those ones from the North Borope. You know it, madam? I see you are even crying when I'm talking about it now because the memories just come back. So it was a bush of discipline. It was a bush of discipline. If they feel you are too young to beat around, they will just rub that on you. So please, center the greens to your heritage. Let's enjoy this good food that we have. And let's share everything that we have, our knowledge. Program director, I think it's your time to come kick me off here. Because I've been waiting for you to stand up, but you haven't been doing that. Thank you very much.
Wow, eh? You know, Dr. Teacher and I were speaking, Mr. Mabela. You need to start teaching. Wasn't that beautiful? Huh? No, you must do your master's and your PhD, and you must come and teach. Eh? A big hand to Mr. Mabela. He doesn't want to mark. But you know, you took me back now. My grandparents in Eastern Cape. Tatum Kuluam, he got to 95, but he didn't die of a disease. He used to ride on a bicycle every day. And in the mornings, he would make a pipe and have coffee, but that ground coffee. But my grandma used to give him this drink to drink. And he lived to 95, but he fell, broke his hip, and then died in hospital from pneumonia. Yeah. My grandmother lived to 101, 2 months off, 102. Everything working before she passed on. But they drank these things that you were talking about. We must go, we can't lose this heritage. Eh? We surely can't. I think it's been a very, very enriching day for us. Thank you for having joined us. Thank you for having shared the richness of our diversity here today as we celebrate in advance our Heritage Day. And now to give a vote of thanks, we call on Ms. Lucille Peterson as you carry on with your.
First of all, thank you for your patience, audience. Nobody seemed interested to leave early today. I'll start at the back, in no particular order. I just want to thank the guys from our Jerome Dreyer and his guys for setting up the venue yesterday. I have to say that if you have colleagues in the university, you have to work as a collaboration. Jerome is actually lost a relative during the week, but every time when we called him, he said, no, my guys will be there. I'm on leave. Don't worry. It's sorted out. So I want to really thank Jerome in absentia, together with his guys, Eugene and them, who set up the venue yesterday. And we cannot do what we do if we don't have support from staff. Then I want to thank Terence, who left after me here yesterday with the students from horticulture, for also coming in and getting the floor plan set up. From the bottom of my heart, Terence, thank you very much for all your assistance. Then I want to thank my colleague and friend at the back there, Rashida. It's actually a birthday today. Thank you very much, guys, for your enthusiasm. I don't know a lot of people who prefer spending a birthday servicing other people the way Rashida has serviced us today. All the food that's been done and prepared, it's all her hard work that went in yesterday, and she's still here, so I really want to commend her for her efforts. Kurt and Cliff and Derek in his absence, the guys from the technical guys who's done the live streaming, they were here with us before 8 o'clock this morning. And yesterday there was a technical glitch. The network point wasn't functioning. And Mr. Sello, who's the institutional network manager, who's out of town on a conference, was called by us to come and try and sort out the technical side. So we sent this guy in the morning, Ishmael. I really want to thank these guys that's working behind the scene to ensure that we can do what we do. Mr. Sello went out of the conference to call me back last night, and it was before 8 o'clock when we finally agreed that the guys will come out. So I really want to thank Kurt and Cliff and Derek and everybody that every year when we depend on them, they really step up year in and year out. So I want to acknowledge them. I know in the lives that we live in, we only give recognition to people when they're dead, and when we talk all these nice things at the funeral. So today I want to publicly acknowledge them for all their efforts, and it's always a pleasant journey sharing events like this with those guys. Then, my good friend Apiwe from MCD is going to make sure all your pictures is going to be on the website in the next few days. I want to thank Apiwe also when I send him messages at 3 a.m. in the morning to cover the events, then he's normally here. So thank you very much, Apiwe. We really appreciate your support that you offer to the faculty. Mr. Jacobs, what will we do without you next year? We're gonna insource you. Mr. Jacobs is going on retirement at the end of this year. So next year we're gonna really struggle, but I think we're going to insource him on special events just to come and do his special skills to share it with you, because the faculty language unit won't be the same without him. So don't go on retirement from the faculty as yet. We will call on you next year. Thank you very much, Mr. Jagels. To the audience, if you didn't come, it wouldn't have been an event. So for everybody who's been here since this morning and stayed this long, I really want to thank each and every one of you for taking out the time. Then I want to call on the presenters, Ms. Kelele, Mfumbi, and Ndiko, the consumer sciences students. Can you just come to the front quickly? I just want to say to you that these are first year students, right? First year students. And when we ask for support for people to be part of the event, Mr. Roto, can you give me a hand here, please? So when we ask for students that wanted to do something, can you give it? When we asked this, for students to do something at this event, they agreed. And if they can come and present themselves in front of an audience like this, then I don't know where they will go to, the heights that they will reach. For first year students to have the confidence to speak on a platform like this in front of audience publicly, not even behind your laptop, it shows of the skills that you've already obtained since you started with the university and elsewhere. So in 3-4 years from now, we will see you at the PG DIP, we will see you in the advanced diplomas, and you might just come back and do a PhD with CPUT if you stick to what you came here to achieve. So thank you very much for making the time, and Mr. Rautu is going to hand over each one of you a gift. Thank you very much, ladies. You can have a seat. Can I ask our panelists, guys, please? The guys who were on the panel? Panelists now, they don't know who they are. While they come to the front, this group of students are really language ambassadors within the faculty. They've been working on the multilingual glossary projects for us. They've sacrificed their Saturdays to come into campus to help with the development of the projects. And whenever there's something going on and we call on them, then they put their hands up. And I want to encourage you with the same words that I've shown to the presenters. If people, you will only allowed to grow if you give yourself opportunity to grow. If the platform is created and you take it, in 10 years from now, you will look back and you've looked at your journey. Maybe I'll see you on TV as a spokesperson for whatever organization, and you will know that it started here on this level, because the more you allow yourself to grow, the greater your strength and your skills will become. So thank you very much. On behalf of the language unit, we really appreciate your support. It's just a small appreciation token from the faculty language unit for all your efforts. Thank you very much. And then Ms. Maluleke from the United States of Limpopo. Thank you very, very much for bringing some entertainment and some color to the event. And from what I could pick up in your performance is you were talking about your background and where you were coming from and how you've grown and all of that. So thank you for taking out the time, and I trust that we will see you in the future at bigger and greater events. Thank you very much. Terence, your guys, are they your students, were they, or you going to give them? Okay. You'll do it offline? Guys? The guys that's working with Terence yesterday to help set us up the venue. We will give you others, they will go. But guys, thank you very much for your time and for your energy. We really appreciate everything that you've done to work behind the scenes. We need people like us that work behind the scenes to make everything look well for everybody. Thank you very much. To our live streaming audience out there who's still watching, we want to thank you very much for following the link with us today. And then I want to just thank once again everybody for your presence, for your contributions, and we trust in 2024 we will have a bigger, greater. No, man, I forgot somebody. Mr. Ngong, Mr. Ngong, Mr. Ngongang. Sorry, man. Can you just come to the front for me? Where's your two assistants? Oh, it was a world student, right? Yes. You have to come. I also service the faculty work integrated learning. At the back. Thank you for your insightful presentation. We like to learn from different cultures, and especially as Africa, we are one. We've got a joint economy, we've got a joint global, our president, Mr. President Ramaphosa, is always somewhere in Africa. So it's good that we learn from one another. So I want to thank you for your presentation and thank you for making the time as a academic staff member that we can also learn from you. And thank you for your students who prepared the taste at the back for us. Thank you very much. There's a little gift for you. Okay. Dr. Teacher, that concludes my vote of thanks. Once again, thank you very, very, very much. There is a right snack for everybody as we go. So I hope you will enjoy the small meal that we've prepared.
Thank you so much, Lucille. I want to thank each and every one of you once more. Thank those colleagues who stayed this long, such as Mr. Sogoni and my colleague Yonela Matanzima. Thank you so much for staying till this minute. We really appreciate it. And I want to... Oh, Lucille, I thought you were still standing here. Please, come forward. If Rashida is not too busy, she may come forward too, but if she's really, really busy, she can stay busy. You know, this event, please come, please, please. This event would not happen, and these events would not happen if not for the hard work that Lucille and Rashida do. They go beyond the call of duty. And I really thought we should acknowledge that. And right through to 11 or so, Lucy was still ordering me around last night, sending me to the office at 10:30 at night. Right through to 3 a.m. this morning, Lucy was still ordering Terence around, telling him changes that need to be made in the venue after yesterday's set up. And after once mentioned as a joke in passing to Rashida's HOD that she partly works with me. I wouldn't say for me, but with me, in addition to her normal duties. So Rashida, we really thank you for the sacrificial service that you render, not to us, but to this university. Because whatever you do, you're doing for the faculty, you're doing for the university. But clearly, you and Lucille go completely beyond the call of duty and want to, on our feet, thank them. Please. Thank you so much. And with that, enjoy the rest of the festivities in food. Oh, and thank you once more, Mr. Jaggers, for being such, of course, a wonderful MC. Thanks a lot.